The truth about aim assist. Oh boy. With a whopping 52 minutes and 51 seconds in length of a video. I think I I read on Twitter that this took Otter about 2 months to make. Oh man, this is gonna be great because the argument for and against aim assist and M&K going against each other, crossplay, it's been going on for a millennia. It feels like it. So let's get into it.
Debate has to be the most divisive topic in gaming history,
Yep.
and it's gotten so bad that I would rather talk about politics or religion at the Christmas table than even
Yeah.
uttering a semblance of a word about controllers. Tribalism is extremely prevalent in our current society, whether it's about politics, your favorite sports team, or even what color shirt you wear.
Yes.
And we see it all the time in gaming. When I was in my late teens, many years ago, the console war was raging on with Xbox and PlayStation fans constantly
Yeah, I used to be that guy. I loved playing on PlayStation and Xbox, you know? But back when I was playing, there wasn't really much like crossplay wasn't a thing back when I played. Yeah, it's different now. A lot of games have crossplay.
going at it. This later evolved into the console versus PC war due to the supposed PC master race. And in a way, it was one group forming their own tribe and assuming superiority over the other groups.
So essentially, I mean, I used to play on console and I was all for console, but like I knew in the back of my head that like PCs would always just be better in general, you know? When I built my PCs, I knew nothing about how to build a PC. It took me my first time for my first PC, it took me about a month to like figure all of this shit out because I still had like a regular job and I just like bought all the parts on like PC part picker or whatever and like waited for them to all come and then make an attempt to oh geez.
But there are
Okay. Make an attempt to try to put everything together in a nice cohesive way. And yeah. And then I built my second PC and that only took me a week. Even though building a PC shouldn't take that long even. Yeah. That's the main difference between like someone that's willing to buy like a PC and a console. Like when you buy a console, it's literally just plug and play. You don't have to worry about getting matching parts for matching pieces and whatnot. You don't have to worry about all these like different wires and different hookups and oh my god, is my solid state drive fucking big enough? Do I got enough dedicated whams? Is my power source big enough? Do I got the most fancy shiny GPU or whatever? Do I got the right coolers and all this jazz? Like building a PC is not easy. It's daunting. But I will say it is definitely worth it to like attempt to build your own PC. And even if you can't build your own PC, like there's tons of websites like that you know, like what is it? Not self-made PCs, but like pre-builts. Pre-builts are awesome to buy nowadays cuz like the quality is way up there than what it was in the past. So, yeah.
many more examples of this within specific gaming communities as well, and naturally with our society being so toxic, the controller and mouse and keyboard users were bound to face off soon enough. And
Right.
just like with many of these other topics, users will find themselves bound to their tribe of choice. And whether intentionally or not, they make it a core part of their identity or
Oh, yeah.
maybe even personality.
Making it a core part of their identity. I think so because I used to do that too. When I owned an Xbox first, and I thought I was like all cool Xbox boy, playing Call of Duty and whatnot on Xbox. But then I got a PlayStation, and that just faded away instantly. Like all of this like core identity bullshit fades away when you start getting just multiple consoles like in your possession. You realize it's all stupid. You know, it's like at the end of the day, a console is just like a put together PC. That's all it is. A PC is more modular, you know, because it's easier to like take apart. I mean, granted, I've had a couple friends that have like jailbroke a lot of consoles or whatever, but like for the most part, it's just a PC that's put together, like pre-built essentially. And yeah, that's what it was.
And this would be fine and all, I mean, don't we all have hobbies and opinions and values? If it weren't for the fact that persons associating so closely with an idea or object to the point of it becoming a core part of their personality will equate an attack on that idea or object as an attack on themselves.
I think I would also venture to say that this is most likely true with anybody that tries to develop a skill. You know, take real sports, for example, like baseball, basketball, soccer, football, whatever, golf. If you start to develop like a real like relationship with that sport, like you actually actively try to get better at it, as opposed to, you know, just going out with your friends and just doing like a pickup game or whatever. It's different. It's just different when you're like actively trying to get better at it. And so this, I don't think is a, I don't know, like a video game specific thing, you know?
If I would blurt out a statement like aim assist is aimbot, one of you guys watching,
I mean, it is.
probably will take offense to that statement because by extension, because it's a core part of their personality, these people see it as a direct insult to them. With these highly emotional states, as we've seen in politics time and time and again, there are plenty of people that deeply identify with the ideas or the objects in question, but lack the intelligence to argue their point, or they actually don't know what the facts are, leading to them arguing for their identity in a highly emotional state, and very often either misconstruing the truth, repeating something they've heard in passing without ever learning whether it's true or not, or flat out just lying so they can feel like they get a win. And it's crazy because today we have more information that we could ever consume in our lifetime right at our fingertips. But despite that, misinformation is eroding our society as we know it, and it prevents us from solving these issues with politics, with gaming, and of course the thing that matters the most of all, aim assist. But why is it like this? Why is aim assist such a divisive subject that many content creators simply stray away from it to save them a headache?
Because I would argue most people that play, there's like, so let's say you have like a, I don't know, like a circle on top with like lines coming out of it, and there's like groups. So I would say like on the top is like people that play video games. Or like maybe instead of like that whole jazz, you have like a pie. I would say like the whole circle represents people that play video games. And then you have like your like slice of pie that's like, do you play video games like on mobile? You know, and that's a chunk. And then you have people that play video games on PC, like with a mouse and keyboard. And then you have a slice with like the console slice. Do you play your video games on a console with like a controller? I would say more people play video games on a console with a controller because it's more easily available. Consoles are easier to get. If you play video games, you most likely your first time was on a console. So yeah, just consoles are more easily available than computers. And I think they are, in general, like, they cost less, too.
In an attempt to fully grasp the ongoing debate, I decided to ask my communities, that being my communities on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, what they think about aim assist. In order to do so, I made 2 posts, one asking for their best arguments for keeping aim assist as it is, and another asking for their best arguments for nerfing aim assist in some way, shape, or form. And I started running into...
So Otter is probably talking about aim assist in Apex Legends. On Apex Legends, on PC, if you play a controller, you get 0.4 aim assist. If you play on a controller on a console, it is 0.6 aim assist. So Take that as you will. I don't know like the numbers for like other games or whatever, but I don't think he cares about that or whatever.
Issues just formatting the question. And pay attention to this part because it will be prevalent throughout the whole video. Because when it comes to this debate, most participants can't even decide on what they're arguing for. And I didn't know what to ask because I don't know what the end goal is. There is no actual end goal except either solidifying or legitimizing power for aim assist or taking away from the aim assist in some way. That being said, as a disclaimer, for the sake of the video, I asked for general for aim assist arguments and against aim assist arguments. And one of the main reasons I did this was because in previous videos discussing aim assist, I was always told that I was too biased and I didn't understand the controller players' side. So as far as arguing for or against, I won't put my 2 cents in this section of the video.
Yes.
If you want to hear my take on the whole situation, you can always wait until the end of the video.
Ooh.
I also want to add that for obvious reasons, many responses did not make the cut.
He's not telling his opinion because he don't want people to click off the video in the first 4 minutes. Smart.
And this was by no means to spin the narrative in any way, but because there's no point in showing comments that repeat the same argument over and over again. And on top of that, I don't feel like platforming all of the many comments that think that insulting me or other mouse and keyboard players or controller players somehow will strengthen their argument. If you do want to see all of the comments, they will be available in my YouTube community, on my Facebook page, and on my Twitter posts respectively. I'll link them all in the description. And knowing how these discussions usually tend to go, I added an additional comment.
Very violent and explosive, filled with insults left and right.
Just kind of as a disclaimer, that I generally want to hear good faith arguments for keeping aim assist as it is, as most of the time of the topic is discussed, I only see bad faith arguments, logical fallacies, or straight up misinformation. With this disclaimer in mind, it's safe to assume that the comments I received in the for section of aim assist is a representative of the aim assist debaters platform. And after going over these comments and giving it some real thought for the sake of transparency and to stop this constant spread of misinformation, I decided to add a fact check thingy on the screen when a comment is featured to make sure that false narratives aren't being spread from my video, you know, with people claiming it's the truth and being really confident about it, but not having a base for the argument. Again, the goal of the fact check is to highlight incorrect statements, and I will try not to add fact checks when discussing something that's subjective, or to argue against an argument however wrong I, Otter, might think it is. I'm simply repeating the perspectives of the controller and the mouse and keyboard players who came when I called. And this is gonna be really hard to go through. I've been pining actually going through these comments because I know how negative these types of things go, so enjoy. You should do a stream with controller and turn off aim assist, show people both sides, then get a discussion going. I don't care what you do for PC aim assist, but leave console DF alone. Even if you are in your PC lobbies, it doesn't matter compared to your scripts, your macros, your micros, your mouse stability settings, your FPS, your keybinds, your steam binds, your 37 extra buttons, your tap shifts, your jittering. Should I go on? Main point is you guys always cry about aim assist and somehow us console players get clumped into that. Leave us the frick out of it. It's a simple argument that I feel.
Bro, the passion coming out. These people have created like Nobel Prize essays for or against this shit. Oh my god.
Feel people make more complicated. M&K is better for movement, longer distance fighting, finer adjustments, jitter aiming, etc. Where aim assist is no longer effective. Aim assist is literally only good for one thing, and that's close range fights. Yes, the majority of fights in Apex do come down to close range, and that's really where the argument begins. But if you stay out of aim assist range, you'll beat the controller player 10 out of 10 times if you're near the same skill level. Not to mention that some people don't have thousands of hours to grind to learn the mouse and keyboard. To put it simply, roller is great for casual people and good players alike. It has a lower skill ceiling and much better start because of the compensation. M&K has a higher skill ceiling, and with that comes lots of movement techniques that is very difficult and impossible without configs, let's be honest here. 4 out of 5 roller players aren't even using. Mouse and keyboard is better if you have time to practice, controller is better to be more consistent on a casual basis. Imagine having that nice rig, all those peripherals, the movement tech, the jitter aiming, and you die to Timmy 2 thumps. The list of pros for M&K is about 5 times longer than the pros of aim assist, which is literally just close range fighting. This is coming from someone who has played both, by the way. In my opinion, the only time aim assist is at a solid advantage is in high elo lobbies where there's 5+ teams in the final ring. I can't maintain the belief that my legend is some badass when they aim like they do tech support. Aim assist is good for immersion. As someone who has used both, I think mouse and keyboard is superior. Just hear me out.
Oh my God.
PC has all types of benefits the console doesn't, such as looting death boxes while moving, accessing inventory without it taking up the whole screen, a actual proper tap strafe, and my biggest argument here I think would be I don't find it exactly easier to aim on mouse, but however reaction times are much better and more precise because I have my literal entire arm to hold the mouse steady even with the sensitivity cranked. As to where on controller, I have only my thumb. Am a sitting duck when looting death boxes or using a Loba alt, can't reload near door or down teammates. I challenge you to put it to the test. Do 6 matches on PC with your normal game values and play your console with your aim assist turned off and see if you get the same results as on PC, because I bet you don't. And don't
Oh my
forget,
God.
you will also
I can tell, like, Otter is like yelling, but he had to like, what's that thing on like the mixer where it's like, it drops like the ceiling of like high noises to like something. That's why it sounds like an AI.
so enjoy playing at only a fraction of the frame rate you're used to playing on your PC. Caps lock off. I feel like he held shift for that one. What does Skill Cakes have to say about it? Number 1 console pred switched to mouse and keyboard and chopped up every pro at Rally. Hal is the best player in the game regardless of what input he plays. The controller versus MK debate all comes down to pro players' confidence. The average mouse and keyboard player stomps the average controller player. If aim assist deserves a nerf, it should be only for competitive. I'm a controller player, but I may prefer watching a good mouse and keyboard player. The movement and the snaps are just outrageous.
Okay.
I think that while aim assist...
Okay, so does Otter just go through like... Okay, so these are all the comments. So he just reads comments, okay? Let me see.
This is strong. I'd say it's hardly ever been overpowered. The advantages you get from M&K far outweighs the one advantage controller players get in aim assist. Apex, for the most part, is all about how you're moving in a fight. Sure, there are other variables, but the bottom line is when you're in a exchange, it boils down to how you're moving and taking angles. Keyboard players have it pretty easy when it comes to the broken movement mechanics in the game, while controller players have to use a backdoor version of these mechanics that are still half-assed at best. There are macros, 87 buttons, having your whole arm to aim, and movement still far outweighs the slight advantage of aim assist.
Okay.
It's honestly a no-brainer.
Okay, there's like so much I could break down, and maybe now I'll attempt to try to figure out some of these like comments or whatever. If I'm gonna guess, I would say if Otter's just taking all these comments from like his community or whatever, I think Otter plays like competitive or whatever. So there's gonna be like some level of like casual people in here and some level of like competitive people in his audience. So I would just go off like the basic bell curve when people, the basic bell curve of like skill or whatever. When I have to like, try to understand like what kind of person is like typing some sort of comment. So
I tested mouse and keyboard, and it's light years ahead of controller with aim assist.
No.
The movement, the additional keys, and aiming with a mouse is easier than controller. This shouldn't even be a debate.
So it's honestly a no-brainer. I tested MEK, and this kind of sounds like a meme comment. Light years ahead of controller with aim assist. The movement addition. Okay, so where the movement is better. Yes. Why is movement better? Because when you input a key, like a movement key, you just get that direction and only that direction. I think there was like somebody did like some sort of like survey or somewhere where it broke down a bunch of random shit for like a competitive like match or whatever, and it's like M&K players move about 8 to 10% faster on average than controller players. So movement is just gonna feel better because you can whip your mouse around and it's easier to turn. You don't have to like turn around like a tank and whatnot. The additional keys, yeah, great. M&K has a bunch of additional keys. Um, Aiming with a mouse is easier than on controller. That's fake news. Um, Tracking opponents is the hardest skill to master on M and K. Flicking is a little more easier, but tracking is really insanely tough. There really shouldn't even be a debate.
It's not broken. All players have access to use it if they choose to. It adds a little bit
Aim assist is not broken. All players have access to use it if they choose to. Or I don't know what he's like referencing right here.
of balance against mouse and keyboard, and it's fine where it is in my opinion. If it was OP, all PC players would be using it instead of mouse and keyboard.
It's not. Wait, what's not broken? M&K or aim assist? All players have access to use it if they choose to. Not sure what he's referencing. It adds a little balance against M&K and is fine where it is IMO. It adds a little balance against M&K. Well, yeah, that's where we're trying to figure out. Like, there's like, if you can imagine like a line with like 0 to 100% or whatever, and it's like we're all arguing like the gradient, like the middle point, like how much is too much, and then how little is too little. That's what we're arguing. So this is like a very vague statement. It's fine where it is. IMO, apparently not, because people are complaining, and a lot of professionals are switching from M&K to controller. So I guess it's not. If it was OP, all PC gamers would be using it instead of M&K. Kinda. But I will say this: whenever you get like some sort of like skill with M&K, you start to develop like an ego. Like you got something to prove. Like you have a chip on your shoulder. Like you want to prove everybody wrong that like you're really good. And I mean, I used to have that, but you know, over the course of playing like Apex, that just like faded away or whatever. But yeah.
Just put a 2 or more times sights on any weapon and shoot it with a controller. That's the argument. Drops mic. Pick up an R99 and shoot it with a controller. PC can shoot a 3 times Havoc from 30 plus yards. Are you joking?
Laughing, crying, onside emoji. So just put a 2 more times sight on any weapon and shoot it with controller. Yeah, 2x guns get aim assist. Yeah. Or yeah, the 2 times sight does get aim assist. That's the argument. I don't know what he means. Pick up an R99 and shoot it with controller. I don't know what he's like talking about. Pick up an R99 and shoot it with controller. Yeah, you're probably going to be within that 33 yards or whatever it is for aim assist to activate. And then, yeah, PC can shoot a 3x a 3x Havoc from 30 plus yards. Are you joking? Okay, this is just a bad comment. So controllers and PC can both shoot 3x Havoc from 30 yards. This is a bad argument.
Okay, I don't normally comment on things like this, but I have to weigh in. When studied and examined, it all boils down to one thing, and here is the answer. Because.
True.
My best argument is it will never affect mouse and keyboard players because they're in a different lobby. So why change it? It's simply appropriate compensation for joystick interfacing. It's also tied to relative enjoyment against difficulty. Playing roller with aim assist off is tough. Apex would likely...
Hey, you know what else is tough? Playing M&K. There. I said it.
lose a huge proportion of the player base if the game was overly difficult.
This is also true. A lot of players stick to Apex because they perform relatively well. And when you perform relatively well at a game and you start to develop like a relationship with your game because of your skill, you are more likely to buy things in that game. So Apex, they saw a lot of skins, a lot of cosmetics, things like this, and it just goes hand in hand.
To play. People seem to forget that aim assist is there because of having to cross the middle threshold of the thumbstick to initiate a rotation in another direction. Has it been made too strong in some games? Yeah, and console Apex is a shining example, with 0.6 being too much but 0.4 isn't too much, and any less and it negates what it's intended for.
Okay, so this is a great point that is not brought up a lot. People seem to forget that aim assist is there because of having to cross the middle. So crossing the middle, essentially what this means is, here, I got a controller right here. Okay, so let me see if I can do this. Maybe this is bad, maybe this is good. Cover my face. So when you cross the middle, okay, so for controller, the game is going to recognize when you start to push the thumbstick in a direction. But when you have to cross the middle, there is no input. Even if you do it like quick or whatever, that little piece in the middle means you're not getting any directional input from the controller, which will be is a good argument that controllers have, and they have that on 2 thumbsticks. But the amount that makes a difference for is like, I don't think it's that significant, because when you whip like a joystick and you cross the middle left and right, so essentially AD strafing, like back and forth left and right, is less effective on controller. And you would have to do like a side by side for this to really see the difference. In general, that's not going to matter, like crossing the middle for like casual play, but I don't know what the argument is for. Is it for like competitive or casual? So I would say it matters a lot more for competitive and not as much for casual. But if joysticks are not joysticks, if controllers want to say they have to cross the middle, then I could argue for Apex, and a lot of people in Apex play on a very low sensitivity, sometimes like 40 cm per 360, 50, 60, 70 cm. When you do that, you have to lift up your mouse, all right? So I would compare a mouse lift and a reset to the same thing as crossing the middle, all right? So, yeah.
Aim assist should be kept as is. I think skill plays a part in it because I'm always whipping my shots regardless of aim assist. The only problem I see is when there are multiple targets in close proximity, it'll switch between them occasionally, preventing you from taking out all your targets in the order that you would like to.
So this is another good argument for leaving it as it is. And I don't necessarily know if a lot of like Apex people are taking advantage of this. Like if you're like a heavy like M&K team, like blocking like body blocking shots to like mess up the aim assist or whatever, is, I would imagine, like a good like micro strat or whatever to like verse another team or whatever. But yeah, I mean, when people jump in front of each other, I don't know how aim assist acts. I would imagine it just slows down or whatever. And let's say you're aiming at somebody at 30 yards versus someone that's like popping in the way at 20 yards. Would the aim assist, like the speed would be the same, but would it just pick up on that closer player? And like if they start to stray out of the way or strafe out of the way, would it just keep going with that guy at 20 yards in front of you? Yeah.
Well, you need to separate comp from a dev's point of view.
Oh boy, this is a novel. Oh boy.
As a dev, you want the game to be super accessible and try to help more casuals to fight higher skilled players.
Okay, a game dev has no prerogative to help a casual player fight a higher skill player. If you're somewhere in the middle, like players at various skill levels, like as long as you like the game, it's up to you to, you know, fight the higher skill player. It's not up to the dev to figure out, oh, how do we get these like people on the low skill side to go up and compete against these like high skill players. This is going to be an argument for like what is it called? What was it, like balance versus surprise mechanics or whatever, consistency versus random.
In comp and as a player, it's not very balanced. You keep aim assist and it's pretty overpowering. Remove aim assist and M&K would simply dominate. I like this last bang meta because some pros demonstrate
So in competitive Apex, I believe nobody plays with aim assist off. And I would argue, even if aim assist is off, on controller, you still have perfect smoothness. All right. You just have to work on your strafing a little bit. And that's pretty much it.
Demonstrated how they could still beam through the smoke, which cancels aim assist,
Yep.
but we all saw how M&K was better in smokes. As someone previously mentioned, console is at a...
Okay, so in the previous split, people could still beam through the smokes, which cancels AA, but we all know how M&K was better in smokes. This is just because people that play on controller that are used to playing with aim assist, they're not as used to playing without it. And like when they realize that it's gone, their left thumb has to pick up and start to aim. Whereas most of the time, like they still have to like mirror and like try to keep the reticle centered and whatnot, but it becomes more prevalent when aim assist is disabled. So I think this is just them like not being like practicing as much like on the skill without aim assist is all.
A huge disadvantage without being able to bind macros, which I personally consider almost cheating. Aiming down sights in controller is also very slowed comparatively to mouse and keyboard.
How? Aim down sight on controller is very slow compared to M&K. I think the aim down sight time is the same, so that's wrong.
Well, aiming in general is slower than mouse, and you can make micro adjustments that you simply can't with a controller, which is where aim assist comes in.
No. So this is wrong. Aiming in general is slower than mouse. I mean, yes, but I would argue both inputs should be always striving to play on a higher sensitivity than what they are. Because when your sensitivity is higher, your capacity for skill expression is higher as well. Now, granted, you could make the argument that I as a competitive player, I want consistency. I want consistency over skill ceiling. All right, that's a valid argument. But if you're playing at 70 cm, I mean, and you're still beaming or whatever, like you're like getting an arm workout as you're like whipping your mouse around. I'm like, I mean, you do you, man. That's all I could say. I mean, likewise with controllers, always playing like 4-3 classic or linear. I don't know which one's better. There's gonna be like a certain range where like the numbers are gonna like perform the best at, and I would always argue a controller should always be striving to like increase their sensitivity, because that lessens the chance of like an M&K player just out movementing them, jumping behind their back, and then they do the slow turnaround or whatever, and like by the time they turn around, it's like, oh, they're dead from like 2 shoddy shots or whatever. So yeah.
To balance it, it's just difficult in my opinion. We can lessen the values in comp perhaps, but devs want to make money, and you need players to be able to pull off things they see pros do, so they have a sense.
No, you don't need to have people pull off things that they see pros do. If you like the game and you practice at it, then you'll do shit that pros do. There's no need to let the guy that just booted up the game, like just one clip, like howl or sweet or something.
Sense of satisfaction to keep playing. If we went with every comp recommendation made by pros, the game dies because people will be frustrated as they can't breach the skill gap.
Yes, that is also true. I will say that if the game was perfectly balanced in all ways, shape, and form, as things should be, the game would most likely die. The game would not make any money, because the pros just play all day, every day. All they do is scrim, and even then, they don't really take scrim seriously. But yeah.
If we divide inputs like controller-only lobbies or mouse and keyboard-only lobbies, mouse and keyboard players would suffer longer queue times.
True. This is very true. Because in general, because tracking is such a difficult skill to get good at, you have to invest some like development in yourself to like play M&K or whatever. People don't want to do that. They just want to boot up a game and they just want to play or whatever. So yeah, there's way less people that play the game on M&K. How much? Only Respawn knows. So how much is it? Is it 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, 80-20 even? Is it 90-10? You know, how many people really play M&K versus controller? Who knows?
Less diversity of players, since Apex is a controller-heavy game, since most of its players are on console. In conclusion, we need separate.
I have no idea. I mean, I would imagine there's more people on console, but that's why you have. I mean, that's why we're having this argument. Really, it's like, that's why there's crossplay. You know, if you were would the game be better if they took crossplay out and just had consoles versing each other and PC people versing each other? Who knows? Would the queue times be worse? Probably.
Rule sets or settings to even the ALGS playing field. For casuals, we need to keep it what it is. Casual.
Yeah.
Aim assist should stay because the average player actually does need it, and an
This is true.
average player with it is still only hitting probably 50% of the clip, if that, on a moving player more than 20 to 30 meters away.
True.
Then the cracked controller players who are on that pro level are just naturally good and are a very small percentage of the player base.
Yep.
The aim assist is likely very minimal help to them. Then the argument that
I don't think so about that. What do you say? Then crack controller players who are on the pro level are just naturally good. So I take issue with this little part. If you look at anybody that's good on M&K, literally nobody is naturally good. Every M&K player has to like work at it. All right. If you look at a controller player, yeah, you could be like, and you're not like in the know on how to like do damage and shit. It's like you have to mirror, you have to center. All right. I mean, I don't really know what else you need to fucking do on controller, really. There is no M&K player that is just naturally good. They all had to work for it. And a very small percentage of the player base. The aim assist is likely very minimal help to them. No, that's fake news. It is either 40% help to them or 60% help to them. There it is. The argument has nothing stopping M&K players.
nothing is stopping M&K players at the competitive level from switching to controller.
Pride and ego. That is literally the only thing stopping them. And like a couple cons, you know, like stopping and like standing still and looting, only being like super effective at like 30 yards or whatever. That's pretty much it. It's ego and a couple cons that come with controller. That's it.
The only reasons they wouldn't is because they lack the skill to use a controller at the level of competition, even with aim assist, and they don't want to get over the learning curve.
So that's pretty fake. It's harder to get good on M&K than it is to get good on controller, especially with 0.4 or 0.6 aim assist. That's about half of the work being done for you. When you learn how to like shoot people on M&K at like a high skill level, and then you switch to controller, it's gonna be way less time for you to reach about the same skill level. It is what it is.
Curve. And another reason is they don't want to lose the movement advantages that mouse and keyboard can provide.
All the movement in the world.
While the reason aim assist is a thing is to counteract the movement capabilities the mouse and keyboard have, I think their balance both have their own upsides.
Okay, so the reason aim assist is a thing is to counteract the movement capabilities that M&K has. No, the reason aim assist is a thing is because Respawn wants to make money and have a successful game that makes money, not to counteract the movement, because every M&K player doesn't have like goated ass fade movement. All right, so that's fake. I think they're balanced and they both have their upsides, sure.
And this was a response, but I have to add this for the context. Mouse and keyboard can't snap aim as fast as aim assist, just saying.
What? Mouse and key can't snap aim. I don't know what he means by this. M&K can't snap aim as fast as aim assist. I don't know what snap aim means. I know what like a flick is, you know, like M&K has flicks. All right, over controller. As aim assist, just okay. I don't really understand this comment.
Yes, and that may be true, but PC has better movement and use your whole arm to aim,
Oh boy, the whole arm to aim thing, better movement. Oh,
which is easier to refine than just your thumb. No
oh really? It's easier to refine. Let's do a little exercise. How many joints? You know, my whole arm. Let's count how many joints I have to use. All right. So how do I hold a mouse? I hold a mouse in my hand. All right. So can I move my mouse with my fingers? You know? All right. So let's count the fingers at least as one joint I have to manually do. All right. So there's my wrist. There's another joint I have to, you know, control. So that's two joints. I have my elbow. You know, elbow. See? I can go this. I have my elbow. That's three joints. And then I have my shoulder, you know? I can do this stuff. So I got four joints that I have to control. All right? So when I got a controller, you know? Controller. I got my thumb. So I counted fingers as one for mouse and keyboard, but I'll do you one better. I'll count the thumb for two joints. All right, one joint right there, and two joint right there for your thumb. All right. So even that, like, use your brain for a second. You only have two joints to worry about. M&K, you have four joints to worry about. Am I doing the correct movement?
matter what, on a controller, you'll have to pass through the center of the screen.
Yes, pass through the center. That is a thing. That is a con. Just like mouse and keyboard has to lift their mouse and reset it sometimes.
Even with high sensitivity, and that's going to take longer than when you just snap your arm left or right with a mouse. I'm just saying I think they're as balanced as it can be from differing so much in performance. Aim assist is very much needed. As someone who has played...
Aim assist is needed for controller. That's just what it is. The controller is not as good for FPSs than mouse and keyboard. It's just facts. If you play FPS or any shooter on a controller, you need the aim assist.
Console and PC both, I can tell you the console needs aim assist.
Yes.
With mouse and keyboard, you have a lot of better sensitivity, better movement.
Okay, I don't know what better sensitivity means, so we'll just forget what that is. Better movement. So when I'm in K, you have better sense. No. Better movement. I don't know. I think I've played Apex a bunch. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen a controller, or not a controller, yes, a controller player. Just like a regular character or whatever, nothing popped, no speed movement or anything. And they do their left-right strafing, and then they crouch. And essentially, you get this target that's moving in a circle, all right, constantly. Granted, with aim assist, all right? That's what you get. That's what you have to shoot at the tippy top levels. All right. This is what you're shooting at. All right. Right here. Let me. That's where you're shooting at the tippy top level. All right. So movement. That's, you know, who's to say? You know, how hard is this to shoot with a shotgun? How hard is this to shoot with like a what do you call it? Like a sub. How hard is it to be consistent with that type of movement? When you're in a 1v1.
And you get to use your full arm for looking around instead of a thumb, making reaction time 10 times better.
That's true. Yeah, you just flick around depending on the sense that the player's playing at.
Controller, you only have a few inches of thumb to work with.
Yes, you only have a few inches, but you're most likely playing on 4-3, and You're not trying to change your sense. You're not trying to get better. You're not trying to play on a faster sense. And when people realize that, and like, and you're fighting, it doesn't take much to, just smoke somebody, jump in behind them, and, just one clip them or whatever.
Making reactions difficult, especially for new people.
Yes, this is true for new people. People that just jump into any FPS or any new game. Movement, like the basics of the game, of any game for a new player, are just difficult.
If aim assist gets taken out, that closes the door to more new people joining the game, and that might make a more competitive environment, but do we really want that?
I haven't really seen a lot of new M&K people joining Apex. Meanwhile, more and more controller professionals are spawning out of the woodwork. So take that for what it is.
Taking out aim assist will be the death of Apex if it happens. Also, I figure I'd mention I don't use aim assist. With how my dead zones are set up and how fast-paced the game normally is, it hinders me more than it helps.
Okay.
Personally, after doing 1v1s with PC and console aim assist, I feel like it's not as bad as the clips everyone posts. More so Zens or strike packs and third-party softwares that are the issue, but aim assist
cops it. Or maybe he tops it? I don't know. So doing 1v1s on PC and console aim assist, I feel it's not as bad as the clips everyone posts. So Zens or Cronus Zens and strike packs is what he's talking about. Yeah, I don't think Apex like detects these, so of course these are always going to be like an issue or whatever. Same thing with cheats. M&K can use cheats, controller can use cheats, blah blah blah, whatever. But aim assist cops it or whatever. So when you get one clipped within 33 yards or whatever, you don't know if it's aim assist or like M&K that killed you. You can only tell that. I mean, and even I was gonna say, even if like after they loot your body, they stand still and loot, but that's just from experience. There's been a bunch of M&K dudes that just stand still loot because they're too lazy to fucking move and loot or whatever. But like, that's typically what I see. There's just no way to tell.
Pops it. Well, if you think about it, not everyone has the luxury of having a PC, but people who have...
Again, this goes back to what I said before. Consoles are vastly cheaper to own and acquire than computers. Therefore, more people are going to play Apex on console.
PCs get the luxury to make decisions for people who don't even have the option. Pretty soon, console will be unplayable because everyone's poking opinions on these subjects.
Well, I think we're trying to just have a conversation on whether or not crossplay is good or bad, or, aim assist is a good or a bad thing for the game. Is it good for Respawn, and is it bad for the players? Is aim assist good for competitive and bad for casuals? Who knows? That's what we're talking about.
Instead of factual, they just throw out opinions on how controllers are so overpowered when honestly it's not. I hopped on my friend's computer and played 10 minutes. I dropped 8 kills in ranked first game on PC in like 7 years. On console, I can't even get 3 kills when I'm actually...
Okay, the game's only been out 3 years. Or maybe you're just talking like you jumped on a controller in like 7 years or whatever. On console...
Actually trying, that's the difference. This is coming from an Apex player with 410 days played on Apex, so it's pretty...
Credible. Okay, sure. I believe it.
Incredible. Honestly, aim assist is great for new and casual players.
Yeah, it is. It's great for new and casual players.
Found it myself, especially playing Apex, that due to the tactical nature and the fact that every second counts as my skill grew, I ended up turning aim assist off on my controller and play completely linear. After aim assist refocused on an Octane running past while I was shooting at a Bangalore, this ultimately cost me the fight, but with all things...
I would like to know the stat, and maybe Respawn has it, or maybe they don't. I would like to know the stat of how many controller players play without aim assist, like just 0 aim assist. I think that would be interesting.
It's just personal preference, and a big thing a lot of people forget, although it's a competitive game. For a lot of people, it's just a chill way to end the day, and accessibility is ultra important. And has anyone seen that streamer Hands?
That streamer Hands? I don't know. I haven't seen him. I mean, yeah, accessibility for a video game is very important, but expression of skill is also important. If so, let's take two extremes. If your game has a high skill ceiling and high skill expression, you're not going to get a lot of players playing that game because it's too fucking hard, right? But then again, on the opposite side, let's put aim assist at like 100%. All right, aim assist is 100%. Initially, you'll get a bunch of people playing, but then you're just gonna, if that's the case, then people are just gonna get bored because once people just lock on and they acquire their range, and they've done it like hundreds and thousands of times, it's just gonna be boring. So there's that side. So what we're arguing is like how much or if any at all.
The dude has like half a hand, half an arm, and he's still clapping cheeks. I'm pretty sure no one cares if there's a little aim assist involved, but if it's
well, of course, no one is gonna care if aim assist is involved.
Going to be competitive level, aim assist should be off, especially since most mouse and keyboard advantages can be copied in some way.
Especially since most M&K advantages can be copied in some way. He's talking about controllers on PC using scripts, which if I am thinking about the ALGS rules, that's like you can't do that or whatever.
Especially if you play claw and know how to set your controller right.
Yeah.
Mainly the fact that without aim assist, mouse and keyboard dominates controlling when it should come to aiming. The whole reason aim assist was introduced. People shouldn't be forced to play on mouse.
People shouldn't be forced to play on M&K. Okay, that's fine. Most of the players on Apex are on controller. And the M&K bros are an ever dwindling population.
Mouse and keyboard. Solely due to the fact that the devs already ran tests on this, even the best controller players get rolled by the worst M&K players.
What? I mean, solely due. Okay, that's the wrong do. Whatever. Due to the fact that devs have already ran tests on this, even the best controller players get rolled by the worst. Okay, this is just this is the opposite. Oh my god. The best controller players get rolled by the worst M&K players. This is just a fact pulled out of midair. This is what we call mental gymnastics.
I solely queue to Diamond 4 most seasons. When I do queue up with friends, they're usually mouse and keyboard players and they do not rank as high as me. We jump into lobby.
Really? I wonder why. Why is it that you just said even the best controller players get rolled by the worst M&K players, but your bros are on M&K, but they don't rank as high as you? Why is that?
And I am the worst on my team almost every time.
Okay, your whole comment did not make sense.
Try playing with mouse and keyboard, but you can only move your mouse 1 inch. This is why we
What?
needs it. We don't have micro adjustments. We have aim assist, which is in place.
Okay, try playing with M&K, but you can only move your mouse 1 inch. All right, that is very high sense. All right, nobody plays on an extremely high sense. The two people that I know of that play on a high sense is Timmy and Skittlecakes. Timmy plays on 20 cm, if I recall correctly. I think Skittle plays on like 17. That's even faster. All right, those are the fastest of the fast bros. All right, it's not getting any faster than that, really. At least at a competitive level. Most M&K bros on Apex play at like 40, 50, 60, 70 cm, like gigantic sensitivities. This is why we needs it. We don't have micro adjustments. Yes, you do. You have 40% of a micro adjustment. We have aim assist, which is in place to replicate it. Okay.
To replicate it. Good players will be good players regardless of inputs, but
well, this is what we're arguing.
Mouse and keyboard has the higher skill ceiling.
Yep.
At a higher level, controller players will completely fall off behind mouse and keyboard players without aim assist. If you want to experience extremes of aim assist, play.
Well, how many professionals at Apex play on controller? How many professional Apex players play on M&K? And yeah, the stats are going to be skewed because These are the highest of highs. This is like the 1%. Why are you making an argument based off of like the 1% of players?
Play the new Halo on mouse and keyboard and rage against the absolutely broken aim assist.
Yeah.
Then play Rainbow Six Siege on console and experience the horrors of trying to aim with 0 aim assist.
I had no idea Rainbow Six had 0 aim assist on console. That's actually kind of funny.
Aim assist should stay as it is because of the extreme movement capability of mouse and keyboard players.
Again, every M and K bro is not Fade. All right. Yes, it's understandable to think this way, but doing a tap strafe wall bounce is not that hard. And if that's what you're using, well then yeah, I would say a lot of M and K people do like wall bounces, but I don't think that's what you're referencing of extreme movement capabilities.
It is impossible to be that elusive and quick on controller. You have to get rid of mouse and keyboard.
Okay, it is impossible to be that elusive and quick on controller. Well, it's impossible if you're playing on 4-3. Why not try to test yourself a little bit and up your sensitivity? It's just a thought to try to like narrow that like weakness.
Keyboard movement exploits, I'd say get rid of aim assist.
Okay, this is like an eye for an eye statement. Like an eye for an eye and the whole world goes blind type deal. So this is dumb.
Think about it. The PlayStation and Xbox, the number of predators are like 0.1% compared to the rest of the pool group. Me, for example, has tried using no aim assist, and my aim becomes trash and I struggle to get 1 kill each game.
Well, everybody starts with any skill. Everybody starts at the bottom, all right? I guarantee if you put some time in, or like even like if you turn off the aim assist, if that's what you're talking about, I guarantee you it's going to be easier and easier. Like it's easy, or it's hard in the beginning, and like kind of, and it gets easier to like understand like what you're supposed to be doing.
Whereas with aim assist, I don't struggle as much to get kills. Point is, I think the average and trash players, e.g. all the players below platinum, all have aim assist removed.
Well, if you talk to a pro, they would probably say everybody that's not a pro is a trash player. So a little perspective.
Will be detrimental because they'll get negative as it becomes more and more difficult to enjoy each game as they've always enjoyed it. So most of them will probably play.
And this is just a trend in a game's lifespan. The longer a competitive like shooter goes along, the higher the base skill of that community will just go up and up. And so when that happens and you have a new player that tries to like shove themselves in, the skill ceiling of the general population will just be way higher. So there is like a thing called like skill creep that comes into play. So I think Respawn knows this already. So yeah.
Less or stop playing, which will in turn have an effect on sales of coins.
Yes.
So I don't think aim assist should be stopped, as I have already nerfed it some time ago.
When was aim assist nerfed? Some time ago.
Remember properly, 99% of controller players can't tap strafe and go crazy on ziplines. 99.9% can't move when looting, unless that jumping armor switch counts in, which the 0.1% applies to. The M and K movement in fights is just next level compared to the average PS Xbox player that just stands still and shoots. This is all just my opinion.
I mean, again, this is anecdotal stuff, like what you're talking about. So, yeah.
Opinion though. Mouse and keyboard can walk while shooting, tap strafe a ton of.
Wait. M and K can walk while shooting. What? Controller can walk. Oh, walk while looting. Okay. But in the other comment, we just saw that controller can jump and loot. And that's just a skill to develop. And the whole moving and looting thing, this was said by Respawn to be a bug or whatever. Just like tap strafing, that's a bug.
Of other movement techniques that are either impossible or so hard to do on controller they're not even worth trying.
Okay, so the thing is walking and looting, tap strafing, and other movement techniques. They're even so hard to do on controller, or they're not even worth trying at all. None of these things contribute to directly killing a player. the thing that contributes directly to killing a player is aim assist. So moving and looting doesn't kill people. Tap strafing doesn't kill people. Movement techniques do not kill people. They do nothing. All right. Aim assist doesn't kill people either, but aim assist helps more to kill a person than any of these things. So that's what we're talking about.
All while often having at least somewhat better graphics, frame rate, etc. So let me keep my damn aim assist.
Okay. So if you're like at all interested in like competitive FPS, you know that whenever you get an FPS and you think it's going to be worth a damn, all the graphics on low, they just get shot down all to low. And that is the reason for that is to raise performance of your PC. The one thing is the frame rate, what he's talking about. Generally, on PC, you have a monitor, and monitors are capable of higher frame rates than TVs. So there's that, yes. However, Apex is not an optimized game, and there's like certain frames where certain like frame rates where movement capabilities are harder to execute than other ones. So sometimes you'll get like someone playing with like a 240 hertz monitor, but they cap it at like 144 hertz or 190 or whatever, so it's easier to do like super glides and things like that. And I think also aim assist does take into account like the higher your frame rate, the less aim assist it feels like you're getting. So I think professionals do like mess with their frame rate, like they cap it or something. So you could argue frame rate is like a here or there thing. This is like a console versus PC thing more than aim assist versus M&K thing.
Lol, why is this still even a topic? You can't play.
Yeah, it's a topic, man. People are bored. They want some clicks, and we're here to give it to them. It's going to be a topic for every game, and it's going to be a topic for every game, including if it has crossplay in it. So yeah.
Console with PC, unless you have a buddy from PC and he joins your party. You are all such complainers. I don't see any of us controller users complaining about tap strafing and all the other bull crap PC gets.
I don't see any of us controller users complaining about tap strafing. Yeah, they do, bro. All like, again, this guy thinks that every M&K player is literally fade. You know, the one time somebody did a wall bounce on him over his head and shot him in the back with like a PK or something, this guy is remembering all of that trauma. All right. Meanwhile, if you turn on any like controller streamer and they die or something like in a fight or something, it's because the like it's a bunch of things, but if they die, of course they're gonna complain about the movement of M&K or whatever.
You're starting to sound like a broken record. It's getting
yeah, probably
old. Play the damn.
This shit is indeed getting old. You know, and the devs don't care. They still want a quick buck.
Game and quit being a child.
Yep. No, I will keep playing the damn. I will stop playing the game and I will be an adult. How about that, Gino Petachicho? I don't know.
The fact that M&K players are able to direct aim one direction, then immediately change direction on command without the need to cross over a center point, as a controller's analog stick has to do in order to change direction. Aim assist is there to follow the target to some degree as you redirect the analog.
Okay. The fact that M&K players are able to direct aim one direction, then immediately change direction on command. Okay, then immediately change direction on command. So I think he's talking about flicks. I mean, like I said before, most M&K people play on a low sense, and whenever they do like an arm swing or whatever, they have to lift their mouse up off the mouse pad and set it back down. It's called a reset. All right, they have to reset their mouse. All right. So that's not nothing. All right. And, you know, depending on your situation, if you're an M&K bro, you either have like a medium-sized mouse pad or an extremely large mouse pad. All right. you so I was gonna say some other bullshit, but like it's not even worth it. As a controller's analog stick has to do in order to change direction. Okay, crossing the center and lifting up. That's literally what I said. Aim assist is there to follow the target. Yes, to some degree. Yes, 40% or 60% as you redirect the analog as they're moving. Yeah.
As you're moving. My argument is I'm totally crap with it, so keep it as it is, please.
This is the truest of truths. This guy is like the dude that's just like, hey guys, what are we talking about? Oh, this guy just came in. Oh man.
It makes casual and new players experience better, which is important for the longevity of the game. Aim assist should be reduced.
This does. It makes casual and new player experience better, which is important for the longevity of the game. Yes. However, if you keep aim assist in its current state, it's only going to push out everybody that plays M&K. Or maybe they just, instead of stop playing, maybe they just swap. All right? Maybe they just swap. And who knows what will actually happen to the game when all the people that play M&K switch to controller. All right? And even though there's crossplay and like cross input and whatever, who knows what's going to happen to the game then? Who knows? Nobody knows. We're simply waiting for it to happen.
Reduced by 0.1 per rank increase from silver, so by the time you hit master, no aim assist is available.
Oh, this is kind of hilarious. Aim assist should be reduced by 0.1. So if you're on PC, you start at like 0.40, and then you go to 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, all the way down. By the time they hit master, there's no aim assist. Oh my god. And okay, well, currently in the current season, there's golds. Like there are so many masters playing, if I recall correctly. There's like what, almost 30k masters on PC alone.
And 0.4 aim assist in crossplay lobbies as well. And honestly, consoles in general, if 0.4 is thriving on PC and pros are switching, I think the best is to give mouse and keyboard 0.2 aim assist so no one can complain.
Okay, so I think the best is to give M&K 0.2. Okay, M&K does not want aim assist. I mean, I'm an M&K bro, but I'm not like, I don't speak for fucking everybody or whatever. Maybe they do want some aim assist. Give aim assist a little bit to mouse and key, but like me, I would, if this was an option, I would not turn this on, because when I aim train or whatever, when I play the game, I need like consistency. All right, I'm not gonna switch from using my wrist to like whipping my whole arm around just to keep track and like trying to realize, oh my god, I got aim assist. Oh my god, I don't have aim assist. Oh, where is it? All right, that's that's not how it goes. And even then, you want to give 0.2 to 0.4. You don't even want to make it equal. You could have some, just a little bit. You could have a sprinkle. Then no one can complain. Well, yeah, then the argument would be like, you have more aim assist and we don't have as much.
If they do, they are hypercritical, since all controller players keep saying aim assist isn't that strong. Roller has to have aim assist to be able to compete against mouse and keyboard. It's an attempt at balancing apples and oranges. You can't balance the two inputs. Aim assist is the only thing that makes roller viable.
And right now, it's very viable. All right? It seems that M&K is the inferior input for Apex. You know, the only reason you're playing it is because you have some sort of ego, or you have something to prove.
The biggest difference between mouse and sticks is you have to cross a horizontal plane as someone strafes from left to right or right to left with the sticks. With mouse, it's instantaneous, e.g. an enemy is strafing to your screen right and your stick is jammed to the right. When that enemy suddenly begins strafing to your screen left, you have to cross the stick past resting position to continue tracking the enemy. Analog versus scroll ball, mouse is hands down unfair without aim assist.
I think a lot of these arguments are coming from people that play controller, and they don't understand how difficult it is to control a mouse and to match up a reticle's movement with a person's movement. I think that's what's happening here.
Analog sticks are almost impossible to aim with and keep on target without some sort of assistance to help.
That's true.
M&K movement is superior, as well as long-range full auto. Up-close face-to-face aim assist is technically easier to handle, but I wouldn't say better all of the time. I'm on controller and good, and I get crapped on by M&K if the guy is movement god and accurate.
If the guy is movement god, do you think every M&K bro is a movement god and accurate? What if I'm a new player and I like to play on M&K? Like, what if I just like got done playing Overwatch? What if I just got done playing Valorant or CS or whatever, and like, oh my god, the time to kill in this game is so long. I can't just flick onto someone, and now I have to figure out this new skill of tracking. I can either mirror, or anti-mirror, or whatever. People don't know how hard it is to actually track something. Oh man.
I think it somewhat evens out, and it's just personal preference to a point. I like the notion controllers are for gaming, keyboards are for emails.
Oh boy. What a comeback.
Also, if aim assist was that powerful, I'd never lose a 1v1 or even 1v2 for that matter.
Also, if aim assist was that powerful, I'd never lose a 1v1. Or even a 2v1 for that matter. Oh my god. This is a meme comment.
As a console player that plays in PC lobbies, aim assist doesn't help at all.
Oh, I'm sure it doesn't help. Not at all. Even to all the professionals that are controller on PC. All those they don't aim assist don't help them at all. That's pure skill.
Because mouse and keyboard can literally break the movement of this game, and it has
M&K can literally break the movement. I don't know how many times I gotta, oh boy, literally break the movement. Gotcha, man. Every M&K bro is not Fade. I'll tell you that. Every M&K bro is not Lemonhead, Treery, Gruick, and all the other movement people. They are outliers. All right? Even Timmy
has historically broken the movement. Even after nerfs, patch updates, etc., movement is still broken.
Movement is still broken. I don't think they even attempted to fix movement on mouse and keyboard.
When controller players can move around the map, flash over a wall jump, run on a wall, then proceed to skull freak you with a PK, I will fully support the removal of aim assist.
Okay, so do all this movement shit and like destroy you with a PK. So, So a lot of competitive people don't even consider shotguns as like a viable weapon because of its lack of consistency. And I would say most competitive people that play competitive are consistent with their fighting skill. All right. Like I think the meta is like some AR or sniper, and then you have like a sub, like some submachine gun with in their secondary. So if you come across an M&K bro that beats you with a PK, I'm gonna tell you that is an outlier player. All right, trying to, prove a point or whatever. He has like some ego to him or whatever. So yeah, I will fully support the removal of aim assist. Okay.
Man, shoot the R9 across the map on mouse and keyboard and try to do the same on roller. You will see that aim assist won't help you much at all.
I'm sure. Man, shoot that R9 across the map on M&K, all right? And then try to do the same on roller. Well, nobody's trying to shoot an R9 across the map. No one's trying to do that. You just need to be consistent and get your one clips when you're at 33 yards, all right? That's what, that's what we're talking about. That's where the aim assist comes in. Aim assist don't come in like when you're playing on controller shooting an R9 across the map. No one's doing that.
My only real argument would be that on mouse and keyboard you get arm wrist movement, on console you get
thumb movement for aim. So you have more joints available to you for aim when you only have 2 joints available for aim. All right, we talked about this before.
thumb movement for aim. I think they should keep.
Oh my God, Otter, why are you showcasing this gigantic thing?
Keep aim assist and not allow crossplay.
Keep aim assist and don't allow crossplay. This is a unique comment. All right. This is interesting.
It creates the issue of even having aim assist as a problem.
I mean, even if crossplay wasn't a thing, there would still be controller on PC.
But if you want some of my pros for keeping aim assist, just watch FPS that have no aim assist, and it's almost impossible to play without extremely slow sensitivity, which as games evolve for more movement, especially Apex. A lower sensitivity isn't really feasible to keep up with the action, and then also already be a movement disadvantage from the ability of inputs that controller cannot do, and M&K can, like lurching and all the other mid-air stuff you simply cannot do on a controller.
I mean, you can if you do the whole scripts thing, but you know, you're trying to get into ALGS, you can't do that.
Also, mouse and keyboard is measuring distance between 2 points, whereas controller is movement over time. It is way easier to control small, subtle adjustments in your aim by slightly shifting your hand with a mouse than it is trying to measure assessed distance with a joystick, so you have to agree that there is a slight disadvantage in that aspect. Now, finding a middle ground is what developers...
Are these people, like, just allergic to strafing and aiming? They think because they play an FPS, all your aiming comes with either your mouse arm or your right thumb. It's like, it is possible to keep a reticle on someone with your strafing. That is possible.
Have tried and failed. Inventories and on-screen interactions are typically easier to handle via M&K.
Yep, it is. And I would say Respawn needs to get themselves in gear when it comes to dealing with like bugs, where it's like, what's like a bug for like controller? Like when they can't reload when they're like crouching behind like a shield or something, they have to waste a whole clip or whatever, which is kind of annoying. And you know, like for end game circles and stuff like that, which a lot of them come down to, it's like when they're out of bullets, you know, all they can do is swing, whereas, you know, they could have just like reloaded or whatever. Yeah, I would say make like a separate prompt or whatever, separate button input command thing for controllers. I think that's fine.
So it's really just has to do with 2 different inputs and trying to match them when they don't have a common denominator. Plus, let's be honest, if they take away aim assist, it could possibly kill a lot of the player base, because if you check daily player counts compared to Steam charts and the like, you'll see a larger player base on console players by a ratio.
Yes.
EA isn't known to waste money on games, losing player counts or money.
Yes.
So I would argue one of the biggest arguments for aim assists is so it doesn't create a reason for them to pull the cord on Apex.
This is true, keeping aim assist as it is. But what's happening is more and more M&K people are either leaving or they're switching to controller. So, and you just have to eventually just accept that Apex is a controller game, which it is.
Games are made to be played with a controller. M&K
Oh, what a meme.
pros: tap strafing, moving while looting, consistent beams from across the map using R9, R301, jitter aiming,
Etc.
etc. Roller pros: aim assist.
Okay. What? Oh boy.
Consistent beams from across the map using R9, R.
Okay. Tap strafing doesn't contribute directly to killing someone. Moving and looting doesn't contribute directly to killing someone. Consistent beams from across the map. Maybe. Possibly. This comes with skill. Using R9 or 301. No one is really picking up the R301. I mean, but it's whatever. People using R9. No one's using R9 across the map. Jitter aiming. Jitter aiming is not, like, it's possible, but like most people don't really rely on jitter aiming. Yeah, you'll have like a couple outliers, but it's not as big as what you would seem to think. Etc. I don't know what you mean by etc. Roller pros. Aim assist. Yeah, aim assist contributes directly to killing someone. Yeah, you could make the argument of jitter aim is like kind of similar because it takes advantage of aim smoothing to create a consistent like beam of bullets, but not every M&K player takes advantage of jitter aiming, whereas every controller player has aim assist.
R301, jitter aiming, etc. Roller pros: aim assist. Biggest reason I want to keep it is so people like you can carry on.
Crying over it. True. Good meme.
Crying over it. Most mouse and keyboard players have played with a controller at some point in their life.
Yeah.
Next time, go ahead and turn off the aim assist and try to play a game. There's your pro argument.
For it? So it's a skill issue, is what you're saying.
Mouse and keyboard need to get rid of tap strafing, moving while looting, and jitter aiming. Then they have the cheek to even chat about aim assist. Ahahaha, laughable. Just get good and stop crying.
Okay, another meme comment. This, I think in the beginning, Otter did say, please keep these to like being good faith comments. But I think he just got so many comments that he can't help but to include a lot of the meme comments.
Some of these are good arguments, and he's still not replying to them. Well, I am now. Don't tell me you want aim assist banned and are one of the streamers that complain about it while rolling people on MK.
So if you're watching an Apex streamer and they play on MK, it's not in their best interest to complain about aim assist, because they realize most people that watch them probably play on controller. And like Otter said before in the beginning of the video, a lot of people have that tribalism mentality where if you attack their input, you're attacking their psyche or whatever, which isn't the case.
If there's aim assist, it doesn't work. You literally have your whole arm.
Yeah.
If aim assist was that good, I'd hit all my shots. M&K are for emails, controllers are for gaming. Enough said. I don't care. I crap on you regardless. They have a thumb. You have an arm.
Okay.
How is aim assist even close to wall running, tap strafing, and every
wall running? Wall running isn't even in the game. You're thinking of Titanfall, dude.
other godly movement? The aim assist doesn't even register on fast moving targets. You get beamed running straight at someone, and it's aim assist's fault.
I would argue otherwise, that aim assist doesn't register on people that tap strafe. I have a couple clips and have been clipped. One clipped.
LFMAO, add me, whatever his name is. I'll gladly take clips and show you as rerunning aim assist doesn't work. 2D plane versus 3D plane. And that was most of the 4 comments. So now we're going to head on over to YouTube to see what they had to say.
Oh boy.
It can give you thumb cramps as a downside of using controller.
The whole thumb cramps thing, I think that's just like, if you're new at it, it's what happens at first. And then you gradually get used to it.
Mouse and keyboard has tap.
And even if that's the case, wouldn't people say, like, using your whole arm, wouldn't that correlate to be like, oh, my whole arm is getting tired? Last time I checked, an arm is bigger than a thumb. All right.
Strafe to the max, which is already busted on its own when trying to shoot them without aim assist. On top of that, mouse and keyboard have better precise.
So again, if you're running away from someone, or you're running towards someone with tap strafe, like tap strafing, all right? Like tap strafing in and of itself isn't that hard, but tap strafing, all these movement abilities, doesn't contribute directly to killing somebody.
Aim for faraway targets, since aim assist has a range on it, and with a mouse you have better control for your aim. I feel
mouse, you have better control for your aim. Really? Mouse has better control for your aim. So then why are there a good amount of professional Apex players switching to controller if mouse has such good is so good to aim with? Then why is that the case?
I feel like we have to have aim assist removed, and tap strafing has to go completely as well, because it would be next to impossible to hit people without aim assist. Even after getting comfortable with controller for FPS games, I will always outperform myself with mouse and keyboard because of the flexibility offered with full control of my aim. I'm either at the mercy of having high sense aim and missing shots that should be easy to hit, or too low sensitivity where maneuvering becomes a hassle and lead to deaths that could be easily avoided.
This is a great comment that highlights the pros and cons of a high sense and a low sense. And I would say this kind of correlates to both inputs. A lot of the times, controller players will play on 4-3 Classic or Linear, I don't know. And they'll be like, this is the controller sense. They will have no idea or any want to try to increase their skill, maybe play on like a higher sensitivity or maybe a different response curve or anything. They just know 4-3. That's my sense.
Avoided. As a mouse and keyboard player, I think it's fine. I can't do any of the fancy movements like tap strafing or anything like that, but even my super basic movement is a lot better than all of my controller friends who have hundreds of more hours than me. I also tried controller for a bit, and while it's probably a little bit overtuned, it's...
Oh, Well, it's probably a little bit overtuned. All right, there it is. Probably a little overtuned. Okay.
It's not that big of a deal. And people
Little overtuned, but not that big of a deal. Well, then you're not really contributing like the whole conversation because we're arguing, or not arguing, we're just talking about what's a good happy medium.
treat it like it's a reason why to win or lose games when it's not. Simply put, aim assist has to be on every FPS console game because without it, everyone's overall accuracy will plummet because not everyone realizes how much aim assist actually helps.
Yeah. What a true comment. The truest of trues.
Without aim assist, MK would have every advantage over controller. Long range, jitter aim, tap strafing and other movement mechanics, better looting, and then would be more precise at close range too.
What? Okay.
Aim assist keeps diversity in the game and in pro teams. Controller has small stick area, mouse and keyboard has big mouse area, makes the game fair.
Sure. No. Controller has small stick area. Yeah.
I expected to see nothing but negativity with these comments, or actually thoughtful and considerate. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, so far, the YouTube comments are more good faith than the whole Facebook thing.
Yeah. Huge shout out for the YouTube community for keeping things civil. Because movement players exist, they should keep it. There are players who play.
Because movement players exist. Yes, because every person that plays on M&K is a movement god. Even the new players, or lack thereof, who play on M&K are just automatically lumped in to becoming movement gods. They just are slapped with that title. Oh, you play on M&K? You must be a movement god. Oh my god, you're a movement god.
Play on console with their PC friends. I have less than 30 FPS on Switch, and without aim assist, I wouldn't be able to kill anyone.
Oh my god. I have less than 30 FPS on Switch. Dang, dude. And without aim assist, I would not be able to kill anyone. Bro, give this man all the aim assist. This man needs more aim assist if he's on 30 FPS on Switch.
I think aim assist should be put to 100% on controller, just to see what happens.
Yes, do that. I would love to see a limited time mode where the devs just give aim assist like 100% to all the controllers and see what happens. And make that limited time mode infinite respawn. Just do that.
I'll bite. Argument. Aim assist does not need a nerf because it's not the problem to begin with.
Well, that's what we're talking about. That's what Otter proposed in the beginning.
The aim assist argument is blaming the symptom rather than the cause.
Okay, I'm listening.
A lot of people believe that aim assist is there to reduce the innate mechanical disadvantage a pad has.
Yes.
The premise is wrong.
The premise, okay.
Aim assist from the onset is designed to give pad an advantage in tracking to counter the advantage mouse and keyboard has in flick.
Yes. However, Apex is a tracking heavy game, at least in close range fights, you know. Therefore, aim assist would be the preferred input. All right. So far.
Like pad tracking advantage in close range with autos, MK flick advantage with semis, and for many seasons, this wasn't a problem.
It wasn't a problem because most people in the beginning were not playing controller. If I recall correctly, most people were on M&K in the beginning.
Early in Apex's life, nobody complained about pad AA. Now everyone.
Nobody complained about pad aim assist because a lot of the time when a game first comes out, that's the most exciting part for like the community, trying to figure out the meta or whatever. This has only grown to become a problem because more and more players figured out the meta and, you know, what benefits it. So, the game comes down to more 1v1s and close range fighting within like 30 yards or whatever. What input is better at 30 yards? Oh, controller? Because it has aim assist? Oh, well then I'm going to use that one then.
Everyone does. Why? They didn't buff aim assist. Nothing about aim assist itself has changed. The advantage of aim assist shot up with no changes to aim assist at all. It is a symptom, not the cause.
Yes.
So what is the cause? What did actually change? The increase in time to kill through the addition of things like crafting, evo, the reductions in gun damage.
Okay, this is a good point.
The introduction of DMRs that out DPS snipers, the nerfing of assault rifles to make SMGs the DPS king.
kings. All right. So this guy's got a good point. This guy's talking about the time to kill. So the longer the time to kill, you know, and a lot of players at like like even at the middle part, like ring 3 and 4 and 5 or whatever to end game, they all got purple and red shields. All right. So that's 200 health, and with a red shield, that's 225 health. That's a long time to kill somebody in any FPS. All right. I think some of the time to kills are like a second and a half or something like that. When compared to a lot of other FPSs, which is like about less than a second, that is a good point to bring up. The time to kill. Time to kills are getting longer and longer. Therefore, aim assist is being perceived more meta and meta.
Kings. Aim assist was always meant to give pad situational advantage, but changes to the game made pad situations far more frequent than they used to be and got rid of a lot of the mouse and keyboard situational advantages at the same time. Therefore, tweaks to these aspects would boost M&K advantage and without any changes to aim assist. Reduce TTK, bring back shotgun 2 pumps and 1-hit knock, kill sniper headshots, adjust.
Okay, so reduce time to kill. That is an understandable thing to bring up. However, nobody likes dying, at least in Apex. I'm talking about like within the confines of Apex. I'm not trying to talk about like other games where the time to kill is like way less. Nobody likes dying insanely quickly without having the ability to react to it. I think that's also why they reduced the Kraber like headshot damage or whatever. Like if somebody has like fortified and like a helmet or like a purple helmet or like a gold helmet, like you can't kill them with a Kraber headshot anymore. They have to have like a blue helmet, I think. And like, what is it? Like a purple helmet and like purple armor. Like you can Kraber headshot that person, I believe. I'm not sure entirely. I haven't played the game in a while. But there are a lot of times where your loot is just good enough. You know, you got that purple armor and you got that purple helmet. Not even a one shot from a Kraber will kill you. So what Respawn is doing is trying to reduce the amount of one shots that can happen. All right. So before you could 2-pump people with shotguns. Now, the only instance that I think this can happen is if you get 2 PK like headshots consistently. Nobody is that consistent on M&K to get 2 PK headshots in a row. This is just not happening.
DMRs to return range superiority to snipers, balance the game so it isn't a close range or bust game. Do that and see if aim assist is really OP. And
yeah, and now he's talking about adjust DMRs to return to range superiority to snipers. So then what do you do with the sniper class or whatever? You know, nobody likes dying like 200, 300 yards away from like something or other, from like a sniper or whatever. And then, you know, you feel like helpless when you die to a sniper from like a couple hundred yards away. And adjust DMRs to return to range superiority to snipers. Last time I checked, DMRs are the meta, you know? Yeah, you could argue that like the what do you call it? The charge rifle is always meta because you can just beam forever and it's hit scan. But every other situation that isn't that, like DMRs are meta.
And that was it for YouTube. We're going to check out Twitter. Okay, I believe aim assist should stay because without it, casual gamers with 98 IQ can't compete against sweats. It forces...
Again, casual gamers don't need to compete against sweats. This should be taken care of with the matchmaking. But currently, that's not the case.
Them to quit, therefore reducing the player base by millions.
Okay, that's what skill-based matchmaking is for. That's what doing pubs versus ranked ladder is for.
Companies such as Microsoft would take huge losses without each of their $60 per game.
Yep.
If companies aren't making money from the average or bad players because they're not having fun, then good players won't have anyone to play against and we'd all be stuck at 100 ping.
Yes.
Aim assist was a thing even in controller versus controller lobbies. Even players on controller going against other controllers need aim assist because the controller is a failed device that doesn't work without scripts or auto-aim.
This is true. Um, I think console lobbies versus PC lobbies is also a good argument. Um, I think somewhere I like watched a video or somewhere stating that someone that played Apex for like a couple seasons on console and then they switched over to PC, they said it was like night and day. So what he meant by that is he explained is like when you play Apex on console, there's this thing called like controller confidence or console confidence where you literally just run at people by any means necessary to close the gap and acquire that aim assist range. Um, so you have to use everything that you can to get in that range because you have 60% aim assist on console. And with that, games were not lasting as long because you kill a squad, you're doing everything to like rotate to try to kill the next squad. And on PC lobbies, that's just not the case because aim assist is weaker, and there are also exist M&K people that can shoot farther more accurately. So you can't just run at people. So yeah, he's right.
So I guess I put multiple reasons. If console players would somehow have tap strafe and configs like Steam as well as 120 FPS, I think 0.2 or 3 AA would be a good trade-off at 0.2
Okay.
AA on PC controller if tap strafe configs were allowed on all platforms and not considered cheating.
This is an interesting comment. If console could somehow have tap strafe and have configs like Steam, as well as 120 FPS, I think this is a fine trade-off, to be honest. Like, just give controllers the ability to tap strafe and wall bounce. Let them. All right, I think that's fine. I think 0.2 or 0.3 aim assist will be a good trade-off. Yeah, this is the most level-headed comment I have seen. And 0.2 aim assist on PC controller if tap strafe configs were allowed on all platforms and not considered cheating. Yeah, but then I think the meta would shift wholly towards controller because if you have aim assist and you can wall bounce and move and loot, why would you be using like a mouse and keyboard? You have the movement of like M&K and you have the aim assist of controller. So why would you play M&K at all if you have all the pros and zero cons?
A good trade-off at 0.2 AA on PC controller if tap strafe configs were allowed on all platforms and not considered cheating. A substantial amount of the player base are controller casuals, and in combination with the already horrible matchmaking, removing aim assist would make Apex not fun to play for a major part of the player base, and player count would likely drop. Playing both at the highest level, neither are broken, people just like excuses.
Also true.
Just so I can read a complaining auto tweet daily. Aim assist wouldn't be as complained about if it was a controller-focused game. Name one mouse and keyboard player in the CDL, and are they complaining about aim assist?
Yes. Aim assist wouldn't be as complained about if it was a controller-focused game. Oh, this is true. I mean, so Apex is in a very unique situation where it is a cross-input game, and the people that say it's either M&K based or biased or controller biased is the community. All right? No one is arguing if Halo is a controller game. No one's arguing if Call of Duty is a controller game. Those are controller games, right? No one is arguing that Counter-Strike or Val is a controller game. Those are mouse and keyboard games, all right? You can plug in a controller and play if you want, but 100% of the player base, or I'm not going to say 100%, but like 99% of the player base is on one input for all those games I just listed. Apex is suffering from an issue where you would like to imagine it's 50-50, but one input is starting to overtake the other input, is what we're talking about.
Assist. Using a 1-inch diameter to fine-tune aim and make micro adjustments instead of a desk area of space is extremely difficult. We've seen the best of the best try.
What? Using a 1-inch diameter to fine-tune aim and make micro adjustments instead of a desk area of space is extremely difficult. So using a tiny area is harder than a big area. Okay, sure. You've probably never touched a mouse and keyboard in your life. But we've seen the best of the best try it without aim assist. It went horribly.
About AA, it went horribly. Now if the best struggled, what makes you think 99.99% of the rest of the player base wouldn't?
Well, that's just it. Like, since they can't, they're not using M and K. They're just going to controller.
So we can make mouse and keyboard players mad.
Yes, that is true.
MK versus controller debate is honestly just cope from both sides. Both are fine as they are. Controller players will always complain when an MK player hits the craziest tap strafe combo on them, and MK players will always complain when they get beamed by a controller from 4 meters.
This is true. Yep.
Controller was the first input for video games and has been the prominent input ever.
Okay, this is a meme comment. This is, what is this? An appeal to fucking tradition or whatever? Controller was the first input, therefore it should be the only input.
Since the controller with aim assist was the original input used for FPS games, so why just because you want to play an inferior input should controller players be forced to suffer?
Okay, this is just a bad comment.
Because controller is the worst input without it.
This is true.
Casual audience helps grow your career as long as gaming.
Casual audience helps grow your career as long as gaming. This is true.
Casuals playing controller because console.
This is true.
Having they get rolled by M&K wouldn't be ideal, which is why they favor controller players.
Also true. This guy is just farming trues.
For keeping. Controller hardware can
Oh my god.
be an impedance to aim, stick drift, acceleration, input delay, etc. Introduce inconsistencies that don't happen on mouse.
What? Controller hardware can be an impedance to aim. Impede aim. Controller hardware can impede aim. How? So stick drift. All right. So most professionals play with an old ass fucking like controller, or not. No, they don't. They all play with Battle Beavers, and what they do is they probably take some sort of like rubber band, and they leave their stick, and like they rubber band it or band it around the stick or whatever, or a string or whatever, and they keep the stick like drifting one way or the other to create stick drift. Because in Apex, when you have constant stick drift, you're more likely to pick up and feel you have that aim assist more easily. And when you can pick up more quickly and realize you have it, you can react to it more quickly. So strict stick drift is not a con in Apex. It is a pro, like a good thing to have stick drift in Apex. Stick drift in other games, I mean, I can't say here or there. I don't play a lot of controller like FPSs on other games or whatever, so I don't know. Acceleration. All right. This is like a skill thing, like which response curve do you want to use? Input delay. Okay. M&K has input delay as well. So this is no.
I realize controllers can be
Introduce inconsistencies that don't happen on mouse. Oh, etc. And introduce inconsistencies don't happen on mouse. Okay, whatever. I realize controllers can be tuned a lot more these days. Yep, they can be tuned just as much as M&K and mouse. But a stick can never replace a freely moving mouse. Okay, so do you think a freely moving mouse is easier to control or harder to control?
Tune a lot these days, but a stick can never replicate a freely moving mouse. It shouldn't be a debate that the aiming on mouse is consistently easier.
It shouldn't be a debate that aiming on mouse is consistently easier. Okay, let's see what he has to say.
A mouse's design is just better than the design of an analog stick for this application. Thus, aim assist was designed and, in my opinion, needed to tighten the gap.
Consistently easier. So, if it shouldn't be a debate if aiming is easier on M&K, why is the population of M&K players on Apex dwindling and not growing? Why isn't that the case then? Why aren't we having a conversation about can we buff aim assist? Can we make it more to keep up with M and K? Instead of 0.4 and 0.6, can we make it more, like 0.7 or 0.8? Why isn't that the conversation?
As for the 0.4 versus 0.6 debate, I'm still trying to understand why there's a difference. It should, in my opinion, be consistent across platforms.
That's a true. I mean, I think the 0.6 is for the lower frame rate or whatever, but you know, a lot of professionals and just people in general play on a lower frame rate in Apex, even if you're on PC, just because it feels like you have more aim assist on lower frame rates versus on like a higher frame rate.
Aim assist makes your business money by tricking casual players into thinking,
oh my god, oh my god, this is so long ago I commented on this. I did not. Oh Jesus.
they're good, making them likely
Okay.
to buy skins, because the better you are at the game, the better the chances are you will buy MTX.
This is a big true, and I stated this earlier. Aim assist makes your business money by tricking casual players into thinking they're good. So what I mean by that is that in a like a skill curve or whatever, if a new player can get into like the bell curve quicker, you know, they're going to be more likely to spend money on the game when they perceive themselves as to being like some sort of like have some sort of like skill in the game. All right. So, and again, that goes back to, you know, you're going to develop some sort of relationship with the game. You like playing it. You're going to get some of your friends to play it. And you're just going to be like, oh man, I'm decent at the game. I can get some kills. I just got to win. Maybe I should spend money on the game. And when you start spending money on the game, that's going to increase your relationship to the game, making you more likely to stay, because, you know, when you like buy transaction or buy microtransactions and skins, you're like, you want to stay with that game because you have invested something into it.
Microtransactions. M&K is zero recoil.
Oh, what I mean.
Competitive gaming, particularly PC, systemically tends to benefit those with higher socioeconomic status,
Oh boy. Let me hear this.
reducing the entry barrier cost of console plus controller and AA versus PC peripherals into high-level competitive gaming is key to increase diversity and representation.
Okay, so competitive gaming for PC systemically tends to benefit those with higher socioeconomic status. So this guy is saying that competitive gaming favors people with money. All right. So if it favors people with money, why is it that the preferred input is a $60 controller versus a $100+ mouse? Why is that? Reducing the entry barrier, the cost of console or controller and aim assist versus PC and peripherals into a high-level competitive gaming is key to increase diversity and representation. Wait, what? Reducing the entry barrier. Yes. When you have a lower entry barrier, you're going to get more people to play your game. All right. This is why sports is so popular, because the barrier of entry is so low. If you want to go play football, all you need is a field and a football. All right. What is a football? Like $20 or something. If you want to go play basketball, all you need is a court and a basketball. How much is a basketball? Like, again, like 10, 15, $20, you know? Sports is so popular because it has a reduced level of entry cost, like the barrier. Video games, this is a great point. This is a fantastic point. I love this.
Systematically might have been the wrong word here. Maybe inherently would be better. I still don't believe aim assist belongs in cross-input lobbies and competitive, but there is still merit in democratizing esports this way.
Yeah.
You're a trash player. I'm a river, guys. Then let's remove every movement mechanic from PC. Dumpasses.
Oh, what a meme.
So obviously there were a lot of comments about defending aim assist in one way, shape, or form. Some more combative than others. Either way, an overarching theme definitely seems to be that since mouse and keyboard has a larger amount of things that they can do, It means that controller is a worse input and aim assist should be left alone. If anything, mouse and keyboard's abilities should be lowered through nerfs to movement and other things.
Why do all controller players think movement kills them? Why is this? Movement has never killed a single player. Directly. Maybe indirectly, you know? It's not like aim assist deactivates when somebody is tap strafing left and right or wall bouncing off a wall. That's just not the case. Aim assist doesn't activate if a player can somehow get behind you. All right? And last time I checked, if you're on a controller, you can get behind an M&K player. Granted, they're going to have a little easier time turning around, but it's still possible. All right?
Moving on, I decided to ask my Facebook community for their best anti-aim assist arguments, arguments as to why aim assist should be nerfed or removed, or at least acknowledging that it is on the strong side. Instead of coherent arguments against aim assist, a lot of the responses I received were actually a great example of the tribalism at play in a
tribalism. An otter. Why?
Forum that's almost entirely casual controller players. The following were among the...
Okay, Otter, why the fuck did you put, like tribes with women with their fucking titties out, all right? I know that's not, like, that's just their norm or whatever. Like, as a fucking YouTube video, you could have just chose a bunch of dudes with, like, some loincloths or whatever, all right?
The first comments that I saw when I started going through the replies, followed by a mix of forum sliding and the occasional decent argument. You so mad roller players be rolling you.
Oh boy, what a meme.
You have such an advantage over a controller player, you don't even know.
Oh dang, so many advantages.
PC already has superior movement and aim assist.
What?
Alas, you must have a bad AF movement if you get one-clipped by my roller player. Just do a little tap strafe, aim assist, vanish.
Oh, I bet it does. I bet me tap strafing every which way just makes all that aim assist disappear.
If they ban mouse and keyboard, how much complaining from the pro community would we hear?
If they banned M&K, how much complaining from the pro community would we hear? That's a good question. Like, if M&K got banned, honestly, all the professionals that were on M&K, they would just switch to using a controller. That's honestly what I think. All right? It is what it is.
Now, if we banned controllers and added mouse and keyboard to consoles, how much complaining would we hear?
Now, if we banned controllers and added M&K to consoles, how much complaining will we hear? That's also a good question. If you banned controllers and added M&K to consoles, all right, this is just not gonna happen. Why wouldn't this happen? Because it's not up to Respawn to give you a controller when you download Apex. All right, or it's not up to Respawn to give you a mouse and a keyboard when you download Apex. Apex is a free-to-play game. Okay? And I think the only way you can play like mouse and key on console is like, isn't it with like a Zim or something? I'm not entirely sure. Granted, if that were to happen, you would probably kill your game. Like Apex would just die if it became a one input only M&K game. And yeah.
You're going to get more complaining from the ones on top with mouse and keyboard, just from movement alone.
No, you wouldn't. Because the M&K people, if you banned all the controllers and you had like some level of people like try to move over and then a large amount of people just probably leave and just find another game, the M&K people from the top or whatever, like they wouldn't give a shit.
Aim assist is nothing compared to how much flexibility you have with movement on mouse and keyboard.
Okay, again, this person thinks every M&K bro is a movement god.
Close quarter encounters, because what else? Rotational? Still close quarters thing. Mid-range is pretty on par with mouse and keyboard, and long-range is mouse and keyboard dominant. I'm down for lowering the values, perhaps, but how do you buff it from mid to long range? There's more negatives to removing it than positives.
Yeah.
And some of these are fine, right? Like, they're not really bad arguments necessarily, but
True.
Keep in mind, I asked for anti-aim assist arguments. And
Yeah. Anti-aim assist.
I already had a post up that had been up for, what, 2 days? For people to argue their case on defending aim assist.
I think you probably could have been a little more specific with the anti-aim assist instead of like making a sentence simply. I mean, I didn't read the post or anything, but like instead of saying like a single sentence, like give me your best anti-aim assist comments or whatever, like maybe do like a paragraph and kind of explain what you're looking for from people, or you know,
assists. So you know, they're in the wrong place. It's forum sliding, and it's safe to say that after counting the amount of posts arguing for aim assist, or straight up just taking the chance to go for insults, far outweighed the sane or relevant comments that I was asking for. Anyways, let's take a look at some of the other responses that we received. As a console player, the best argument I have to remove aim assist is that when you are moving in a fight, the aim assist will drag your character sometimes in a way you don't want.
That is a great argument or point. The aim assist will drag your reticle, I think. The aim assist will drag your reticle towards a character that you don't want to. Again, so you're aiming at someone, I don't know, maybe 20 yards away, and then you have someone wide swing you, get in your way, 10 yards away, and oh my god, this guy's got full armor over here versus this guy that's like about to be one clipped, but he dragged my fucking reticle away. So that's a good argument.
That when you are moving in a fight, the aim assist will drag your character.
But I think the instance of that happening is not large enough because it's really hard to micromanage people in like teamwork based games. I mean, shit, dude, even in like competitive Overwatch, which is like 5 monkeys like just jumping around trying to figuring out what to do or whatever, it's like that's hard enough. You know, and now you just take on like Apex, which is 3 people, which is like a percentage based like easier. You have way less people, and I've even seen like professionals like just yell at like their teammates for not doing like this micro movement thing. So that instance of someone getting in your way is just not happening enough to where it's warranting this bullet point as like an issue for aim assist. But it is an issue because it does happen.
Sometimes in a way you don't want. Console player here. Lower the value to at least 0.4 like PC for the casuals, and personally I want to see 0.2 aim assist for controller because then it would actually create a skill gap.
Oh. A controller player with a little bit of ego. He wants to say he's better with less aim assist than you are. This is the type of controller player that I would like to see. This is a good argument.
Countless.
You know, you're playing a sport or a game or some skill. It's okay to have like a little bit of ego, you know? It's part of the fun of you playing something and like, you know, trying to be good at it.
Times I've been completely destroyed by level 200 with no movement, positioning, or awareness, but because they have the juicy 0.6 aim assist, they proceed to land the most bull crap shots and knock me. And if you play low sensitivity on controller, you're literally living life on easy mode, especially as SMGs are always meta. It's no wonder controller dominates.
Yep.
Most of y'all would have a 0.25 kill death ratio if you were on a PC and they took your aim assist away, lol.
True.
With the top ranked players, as well as the winning pros numbers of controller being as high as they are, it needs to be balanced. If you play any online game and one side is 92%, any reasonable game would balance.
I don't know what he means by 92%. Play any online game and one side is 92%. I don't know what he's talking about.
Viable option. The thing being, Apex, fairly enough, isn't overly fussed. And why would they, as no one is controlling the inputs you choose to plug into your 5K computer?
No one is directly controlling the inputs, but people are indirectly controlling your input to some degree. You know, how much, you know, is here or there. And this is the reason why you have some professional Apex players switching from mouse and keyboard to controller.
As a player, I think there is far more pressing issues than what input you feel better with. Any good player will be able to play on controller or mouse and keyboard.
This is not the case. As I said before, M&K is just harder to get good at than controller. It just is.
Simple. Plugging in a controller causes either 40% of the aim, if on PC, or 60% of the aim on console to be done for you.
Yep.
If two fresh players 1v1, with one on controller and the other one on mouse and keyboard, the controller player will win more often than not due to that.
True.
Because contrary to the M&K gets better movement, so it's balanced that people somehow believe, the part that wins the game is the part where you shoot someone.
What a big true.
And you can't really shoot someone while wall jumping or tap strafing.
Minus the like shotguns and like the wingman or whatever. Or like if you're in close range, you can use like some guns hip fire and just hope and just pray.
So, yeah, hit it with the echo chamber.
Yeah.
I love the comments. I feel like aim assist isn't that far from being okay. I made mouse and keyboard myself, but have played roller. I personally believe simply lowering the strength of it as the range decreases is the answer. Let them have aim assist at range, but when it's up close at 1v1 at equal skills, roller will always take it.
This is an interesting comment. I feel like aim assist isn't that far from being okay. I main M&K myself, but have played on roller. I personally believe simply lowering the strength, all right, so bringing it down, lowering the strength of it as the range decreases. So he wants to do like a donut type thing. So like maybe at 33 yards, you get 0.4, and at 20 yards, you get 0.3 or 0.2. And when they're really close, it's like 0.1, like within 10 yards. And then when you're in that like 3 meters to 4 meters range, you just get 0, which is how it works currently. You know, if you're right on top of somebody, they get no aim assist.
Let them have aim assist at range, but
that is a very unique solve. I'm interested in this. This is a good comment.
when it's up close at 1v1 at equal skills, roller will always take it. Man, I got offered top fan on his page, and I don't agree with 90% of the page's content, and yet another post here is why I seriously am beginning to loathe Apex content creators. I've had plenty of friends move from console to PC for Apex, and hands down they all said by far they have a way easier time.
I love how Otter just randomly gets like southern.
I'm landing shots and guns like with the Wingman or the R9 on PC. Plus, they're learning more wall jumps and movement techs constantly. The amount of crutches the PC players get despite having plenty of innate advantages with the hardware is insane that they argue for console heavy nerfs. If you guys seriously want aim assist removed, why don't you guys start with removing the huge amount of crutches PC starts with without even mentioning movement tech? Let's start with deathbox looting and
Deathbox looting doesn't kill anybody.
the ability to do entire aerobics routine on the box while switching your armor and getting kitted. If that's not bad enough, how about having clearly stronger net coding to where you can toss ordnance and shots through doors that are less than 2 pixels? Oh.
Okay, so how about having clearly stronger net coding? Okay, so net coding affects both like PC and console equally. This is just going to be like dependent on like what region you're at. So yeah. Coding to where you can toss ordnance and shot through doors. So this guy has clearly been shot through like a door that was like opened a pixel like wide. And if you don't know, as long as the door is not completely closed, even if it's like a pixel open, you can get bullets and grenades through there. So it seems like this guy just had that happen to him, and he's got to bring it up, which is I find funny.
Then, still not enough of then you can move on to the macroed movement tech and ability to overly keybind
Macroed movement. So he's talking about binding W or forward to scroll wheel up and jump to down or whatever.
controls to give unreasonable functions like super jumping out of a climb and being able to speed boost to the levels of tridents in boost.
So he's talking about super gliding in this, and super gliding isn't really consistent. Yeah, you can kind of practice it to be consistent, but I would say the people that are like somewhat decent at super glides are outliers. Most MK people don't depend or do super glides consistently. So yeah, they're just outliers.
It's absolutely insane that the PC players for years claimed aim dominance while screaming PC master race at everyone on consoles are now crying.
So the reason PC people claimed aim dominance is because most PC players back in the day were most likely playing Counter-Strike, which is just like flick and tap. All right, that's that like a specific skill set. When you're just not moving, like in CS, you still have WASD to move around, but like your reticle settles to like one thing when you're not moving. You have to stand still and shoot. You can't move and shoot in Counter-Strike. All right. When you move and shoot, your reticle like balloons out to like something unreasonable. You can't hit anything, so on and so forth. So for a lot of years, CS was the popular PC game. Yes, Quake was a thing, but again, like I said before, tracking a target while moving and strafing is infinitely way harder than just flicking to a target and leaving your reticle there and clicking on him.
Over the one feature that gives compensation to the incredibly limited aiming potential of console players, and furthermore, all of the comments saying aim assist is aimbot in close range is beyond hilarious to me. If you're close range and missing shots on PC, maybe take a step back and ask yourself if that's a problem with your skill. It's never going to go away, so if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
Remove every single advantage of PC.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. The population of MK players slowly deteriorating.
PC and controller get over another if anything is getting removed. Take it all away then. No more close aimbot for roller, no more movement for PC, no more lasering from 200 meters with a 99 for PC. It's the only way to make...
So you want to take away movement and aim smoothing from PC, which is fine. And then you take away aim assist from controller. So then what's the point of playing on M&K when you still have to worry about your mouse smoothness and tracking? Then there is really no point to playing M&K. Then it's just even if you were to take away aim assist and all these things from PC, it would be a wholly controller dominated game because controllers have perfect smoothness at all times.
Make it truly fair since crybabies can't handle that. Each has its own benefits. They should make everything neutral. Don't understand why PC players can bounce all over the place, literally turning 180 degrees and going the other way. That's some BS.
This guy got tap strafe shotgun in the face one too many times. Oh man.
Remove moving while looting, reloading while holding a door, and then remove aim assist.
Remove moving and looting while holding a door. I'm pretty sure that's like a command prompt thing. Like what takes priority, and I think that's a thing that Respawn should probably fix on controller. Like if you're on controller, you can theoretically do the same thing. Like if you got a box and you got a set of doors and your character's in the middle, but your back is facing the door, and you know it's like 100% closed, and you look at the box. I think the box command to like interact with the box should pop up, and not on the door to open up the door behind you. All right, so that's something I think Respawn should fix.
Mouse and keyboards are privileged gamers. That is all. Like rich people looking down on poor people.
Okay. No.
And then complaining when the poor people get something or have anything better than the $2,000 system.
Oh my god. This is a great comment. This is a great meme.
Controller gets bumps. M&K get the whole arm to control. Still think advantage goes to M&K.
True.
Down Otter, you won't listen. If aim assist is removed, players will remove themselves, and it won't be a couple.
So,
listen. If aim assist is removed, players will remove,
and it won't be a couple. So, since aim assist is staying, players will not only remove themselves, There'll be like some players that will remove themselves if they play M&K, or simply they will just switch to the superior input, which is controller at the moment. That's just happening, right? That's reality.
Remove themselves, and it won't be a couple. I want to know what type of aim assist y'all are using. It does 40 to 60% of your aiming. Mine barely locks on past 20 meters, lol. But then again, Apex players will cry about anything.
Okay, that's a meme.
So reading through this, I had to go back and make sure that I actually was reading the anti-aim assist argument post. And
Yeah.
I didn't somehow click into the...
Well, people don't want to really answer the post. They just see something for or against aim assist. And again, they just want to take the tribalism approach and don't remove my aim assist because I need it. That's what they're always going to do. I mean, yeah, there have been a really good amount of actual like comments, like answering your questions correctly and giving good like bullet points and reasonings. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like the overwhelming majority of comments were just like meme comments.
wrong thing. Yeah, it turns out it was that post. Anyways, that seemed to be most of the comments on Facebook, and I did obviously keep a few ones out that were leading towards insults. Some were actually so egregious that one of my moderators ended up cleaning those up. Honestly though, I'm not really surprised asking for an anti-aim assist argument in such a biased environment wouldn't lead to a response like this. But obviously, we can't end here because we want to get some good arguments for the sake of the video. So thankfully, I also inquired my community on YouTube, who provide what I will consider at least somewhat more useful responses as to why aim assist has to change. I'm scared of close range fights, to be honest. The laser beams are insane. Trying to play team deathmatch, you get opponents with roller on R99 or car, and you'll think you're fighting gods.
True.
But with a bit of range, it feels close.
True.
Just watch the first pub match of Verhol's last livestream on Twitch, and you will see why it is OP.
Okay, using... okay, so Verholst is like a top tier controller player. One of, if not the best controller player. Why would you use like an outlier, such as like a really high level person as an example? Even if that is the case, you know, for trying to remove aim assist, I still wouldn't use like the competitors as examples. It just so happens that the environment that the competitors are in currently is tending toward heavy controller use. So yeah.
The power of controller is consistency.
This is true. It's easier to be consistent on controller than it is to be consistent on mouse and keyboard. Yes, even at the higher tier of play, that gap is lessened. But again, consistency. You know, the difference of one bullet hitting and one bullet not hitting is the difference we're talking about. And what are you willing to do as a competitor to get the win? You know, if you are a competitor on M&K, are you willing to switch and to go all in on controller?
Give players slowdown aim assist, whatever your game has, rather than rotational aim assist that tracks for you with 0 milliseconds reaction time. Respawn argue that the large majority of the player base, even on PC players, are in controller, and that large majority would be stupid not to take advantage of how broken 200 FPS aim assist with configs is, unless they just like mouse and keyboard like the rest of us.
Give players slowdown aim assist, which is what every other game has, rather than rotational aim assist. Go back. Come on. I think that's fair. Apex is like one of the few games that gives you like rotational aim assist or whatever. I think Call of Duty has this issue. I'm not sure if Fortnite has this or not. I think it's just like slowdown. I think this is an argument for anti-aim assist. I mean, yeah, I mean, rotational aim assist is like very strong. I mean, it just is what it is. In a large majority, it would be stupid to not take advantage of how broken 200 FPS is aim assist with configs. So aim assist, so this is just a feeling thing that a lot of professional players say. I'm going to just say this again. The higher your frames, it feels like you have less aim assist, the higher your frame rates are, like your refresh rate on your monitor. So let's say you have like something like ridiculous, like 360 hertz refresh rate monitor, and let's, for the sake of the argument, say that Apex is like an optimized game and can run like well at 360 hertz like frames. I mean, that's not the case currently, but just for the sake of the argument, is aim assist is gonna feel different at 360 hertz, and it's gonna feel different at 240 hertz. It's gonna feel different at 144 hertz. It's going to feel really weak at 360. It's going to feel okay at 240. And it's going to feel really good at 140. That's just how it is. It's just a feeling. It's hard to describe a feeling. The whole with configs thing, I mean, it's not like it's not like the game can show you whether or not someone is using configs or not. And I don't think they ban you if they use configs, like in like just general like pub play or ranked play. I do know they're not allowed in ALGS or whatever. But I don't know. It is what it is.
How broken 200 FPS aim assist with configs is, unless they just like mouse and keyboard like the rest of us. It is not a replication of a human's aim, which is its main purpose. It's rather an automation of the aim mechanic.
True.
Aim assist is inhuman. It will never be balanced.
True.
As an ex-controller player, top 5% in COD, Seaway, Pro AM, tweets on Apex with now 300 hours of mouse and keyboard experience, Diamond 4 solo queue, I can say that rotational aim assist outperforms any benefit that mouse and keyboard has.
True.
I have to be absolute perfect in my 1v1s. I don't get inhuman reaction time to horizontal movements. Mid-range, we all know with recoil-controlled top controller players can compete, but the advantage in close quarters combat is just overwhelming.
It is.
The way it can follow an enemy's strafe changing the direction with no delay is the real issue here. The human mind has its reaction time, and aim assist can track through a change in direction faster than that because it is instant with no delay.
Yep.
Anyone on controller who can follow a target at all without aim assist will do ridiculously good.
Yes, and these people are, I will say, outliers.
Because they track the enemy on their own, and aim assist makes up for the changes in direction for you. A good controller player always has a 1 to 4 bullet advantage over a good keyboard and mouse controller because of it. I will be honest, I hope at least ALGS is forced to turn off aim assist.
That won't happen. That will never happen.
If you're playing at the highest level, there's no reason you need system assist, so it's supposed to be pure skill. Aim assist's purpose is to prevent mouse and keyboard from crapping on roller players, right? But right now, we the mouse and keyboard players are the ones who's getting crapped on. What I want to say is, perhaps it's time for us mouse and keyboard players to get the assistance that roller has gotten.
Even if you were to give that option to M and K people, I'm not sure that they would use it. Because you can, so maybe if it was a little bit of rotational aim assist, or maybe if it was just slow down aim assist, mouse and keyboard can already kind of do that. Depending on like what mouse you use, you can do that already. So on a lot of mice, but not this one that I have with me or whatever. Here, let's see. Okay, so this is a mouse. Let me get focus. So the button. No. The button under the scroll wheel. This is a DPI switch button. All right. So if I make my in-game sense like just a static like thing, and I hit that DPI switch button, and I go into my like software and just make it so it only switches to like a high DPI and a low DPI, I can already just do that. I can already switch sensitivities, you know? I can just click my finger on that DPI switch button and just get a lower sensitivity and slow down my aiming. So like if I'm not fighting someone, I can just whip my mouse across my screen. And then if I am fighting someone, I can change it and hit that DPI button to, you know, be slower and a little more precise or whatever. So they already kind of have that option, and no one is really doing it. So even if you were to give aim assist to M and K, I'm not entirely sure they would use it.
I am a controller player, and I can see a noticeable difference without aim assist. I feel like it makes elimination stupid easy when enemies are up close. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Why is aim assist allowed in PC lobbies and in pro gaming? It should only be on console.
I mean, because games, a lot of the tournaments have a clause where it's like, pick your own input. Here, let me go back.
That's just me. Why is aim assist allowed in PC?
Okay, so why is aim assist allowed in PC lobbies and in pro gaming? This is going to be dependent on like the tournament organizers to some degree. You know, even if it's being ran by like the game developer themselves, they can choose their own input. It just so happens that the main input for a game is going to be the one that dominates that game. So for CS and Valorant, it's going to be M and K, because those games just have so many things that benefit mouse and keyboard. You know, you flick somewhere and you shoot someone with one bullet. On Halo, on what do you call it? On Call of Duty, those are controller games. Even though you can pick your own input, the consistency is not there. Those are controller games. Now, you can make an argument of Quake. Quake is like an M&K game. An M&K game, where it's like a lot of tracking, heavy tracking. Yes, you can like, there's a couple guns where you can like flick and do all that noise, but there's the movement in that game is very ridiculous. Like I said before, it's very hard to track fast moving targets. And I think Quake, out of all of the professional games, have the fastest moving targets out of all of them. And last time I checked, nobody plays Quake on controller, because I mean, I don't honestly know why. Is it just like a choose your own input thing and the community kind of just regulates itself? Or is like no good controller player play on a high enough sensitivity? Like, let's say they play on like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 or something like that to kind of keep up with the speed of like the characters moving and whatnot, to make it seem like they could have like a good flick or was easy to track. I wonder why that's not a thing. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a thought.
PC lobbies and in pro gaming, it should only be on console. No reason to have a handicapping system in the ALGS, no other sports have it either at the highest level.
That is true. No other sports are, you know, it's like, it's not like in basketball, one team has like a bigger hoop than the other team. It's not like in football, like the halfway, what is it called? I'm losing it. It's not like the halfway mark is like 10 or 20 yards in one direction, so it's the other team is like only 30 yards to a touchdown, and the other team's like 70 or 80 yards to a touchdown. Yeah, it's not like in baseball, one team has to use a normal, fully wooded out bat, but the other team, when they go to bat, they get to play with like a corked bat. You know, that's just drilling out like a center of the bat and just putting it with like cork, so the bat's lighter to swing. It's easier to like get around or whatever. Yeah, that's in no other sport. Though, that like, if you were to do that, that would be considered cheating. But for some reason, it's okay to have in certain professional esports games.
There shouldn't be aim assist for headshots. 0.6 carries console players too much.
Oh, that's another interesting thing. Like having no aim assist on the head. That's an interesting fix. Maybe.
Oh no, Otter started World War III before Russia did.
Yeah. I mean, no, this has always been a thing. It's not started. It's more like, instead of starting it, you're like reigniting it.
I just thought that one was funny. I wanted to add it. Admittedly, there also were some belittling and insulting comments on YouTube as well that didn't make the cut. And there were, of course, a few comments that were arguing on the defense of aim assist, but certainly less so than on Facebook. While they existed, they were definitely a minority here. But we also asked Twitter. So let's take a look at Twitter and see what they have to say. Why should people be rewarded for opting into an inferior input?
What does he mean by the inferior input? Does he mean M&K?
You're choosing to use one thumb over your whole arm for a reason, and it's pretty clear the reason is that they can't hang without rotational aim assist. This only applies to PC and comp, so console kids, relax.
Dang, he laid it down.
So I ended up watching Floating Koala turn off his aim assist, so I thought I'd give it a try.
Okay, so I ended up watching Floating Koala turn off his aim assist. So I don't know if Floating Koala is like a real person that he's just watching or whatever. And so I thought I'd give it a try.
And when I did, the gameplay felt completely different.
Yes, it will. It'll feel more freeing. You'll feel like you have more movement.
But after an hour or two, I ended up getting used to it.
Yeah. That's what would happen. You would get used to it.
Conclusion, us controller players never needed aim assist in the first place.
Could you imagine a world where aim assist didn't even exist, but controllers still had like smoothness? All right. You have perfect smoothness and you learned how to strafe. You learned how to just keep your reticle on the target no matter what they're doing. That would be crazy.
Back when crossplay started to become popular, aim assist was buffed to even M&K and controller.
I don't know what he means by when it first started or whatever. There's never been really any games that M&K has aim assist. I think recently, like Halo M&K has aim assist a little bit, but like nobody cares about the M&K Halo bros.
And now dominates. Isn't this enough? Something that isn't talked about much is the 0 millisecond reaction time. If you know anything about aiming, especially reactive tracking, you know it's unfair.
Oh yeah, that's a huge gain if you have 0 millisecond reaction time. If your target or if your reticle is carrying on like perfectly on top of the target and it just switches like out of the way, you know, you have about 150 to 200 milliseconds of reaction time where your reticle is still going the other way and you have to flick back to the target.
Average weekend roller players outdamaging mid to high level mouse and keyboard players in isolated engagements.
This is true.
Should be proof enough. Aim assist is able to negate errors made in aim and produce results not capable under the scope of human performance, because rotational AA strafing tracking strafes
for you. This is also true.
It's for you. Not moving the right stick. If you think this is fair, argue with the wall or the mirror because you can't convince me this is fair. Clear advantage, when I can hop on controller and be one clipping left, right, and center and winning games with 10+ kills with no experience on controller. Simple as that.
Oh dang. That man laid it down. If you can just hop on roller with no fucking training at all or whatever, it's like boom.
Just remove rotational aim assist as a start.
Oh, just remove rotational.
In my opinion. Competitions should be
okay, this is crazy.
A comparison of raw human skill, not who has the best aim assist settings. Literal scripts aiming for you. And aim assist starts tracking instantly as someone slides around a corner. Whereas on mouse and keyboard, you have to either be prepared or react to it.
True.
Aim assist also allows for casual players to easily aim and one-burst people with burst guns, very little thought or effort. You can see when you die and aim assist breaks, how the reticle flings across the screen because we're trying to aim in a completely wrong spot. It also allows more situational awareness for controller players, less brain power focus on controlling aim or recoil. A mouse and keyboard player has to micromanage the aim or recoil the entire gunfight to adjust track moving targets. Less brain power left for situational awareness.
True.
Controller and mouse and keyboard.
This is even though this is long, this is a good post.
Should simply not be mixed in anything but casual gameplay, and in my
for casual gameplay, this is fine. Like, just mix them up.
Honest opinion, controllers should not be used in any competitions whatsoever. Let competitions be reserved for raw displays of skill, raw human input, not scripts and aim assist.
Well, if that was the case, why is there a competitive Call of Duty scene? Why is there a competitive Halo scene? And whatever other like games exist or whatever. Like the controller and the aim assist is fine as long as it's just that input.
Aim assist is also generally blatantly too strong even in casual modes. Terrible or average players can usually get lucky kills on skilled mouse and keyboard players, because aim assist just hits sometimes. A magical bubble. Even if the skilled mouse and keyboard player wins the majority of the time, it's still annoying to get one bursted by a 90 IQ controller player laying down in bed, smoking a joint, eating a piece of pizza, and playing with their toes.
That's
An
a little
AFK
much.
controller player will still literally aim at targets passing by, LMAO, an actual robot playing the game for them. Might as well just give them a veteran bot and allow it to make the plays and movements for them too. If the game aims for them,
there's more.
Why not allow it to move too? Why not just let console players enable AI to literally play the entire game?
True.
Imagine going to a bike race down the street and the guy next to you brings a horse and argues how the horse has disadvantages of getting on the horse, making sure it's trained to run down the street and so on and so on. How can you tell who is the best if you argue over what you use?
That is good, pointing out a bias.
Aim assist has 0 reaction time when tracking a target that switches directions.
I mean, I think Otter was being pretty transparent when he wanted like just good faith arguments out of each community or whatever. So
it artificially lifts the skill floor, making the average or below average player better than they would be. It can also be used in the hands of a very skilled player. Lower sensitivities can barely miss shots with aim assist due to the magnetism effect it has when it curves towards your enemies.
Magnetism effect. Okay. Magnetism. Like, it literally brings the reticle toward the target even when the target is moving away. That's not how it... I mean, it kind of is. That's how 100% aim assist would work. And even then, that's not how it works. All right? Even if a target is moving like one way, the reticle is falling behind slowly.
It is straight up unfair to fight it if you're required to hit every single bullet to win a fight just because of an input. Aim assist that we use is a magnetized type of assist, not a slowdown.
Aim assist that we use is a magnetized type of aim assist. No. There's at no point is the reticle drawn toward like your target with you not doing anything. As long as the target is moving, your reticle will actively be pulled away unless they change strafe directions,
making it really strong once it's active. I say we need a weaker version or a slowdown assist instead of a magnet. Far too easy.
Okay, we don't have a magnet in Apex.
Easy to beam currently, it feels brain dead because of the micro adjustments that it does. Competitive intake.
It can... Oh my god. Why are you using my comment again? Oh my god. I can't believe I fucking said this. I'm a fucking dork.
Current statistical trends in players across all skill levels shifting to controller as an input suggest, at minimum, players view controllers as competitively advantageous. Performance across all game modes additionally suggests these aren't just perception, but actual advantages. I have worked on mouse and keyboard for 15 years and I got decent with it.
Nice.
I commonly get outgunned by controller players. It requires far less work with far more regular results.
Yep.
Movement versus aim assist. Movement does not win fights, aim assist does. Aim assist generally hits more headshots. Mouse and keyboard can't contend 1v1. In human reaction times to strafe variations, visual clutter has minimal effect as aim assist works.
Ooh, the visual clutter bullet point. Oh, dang. Let's hear it out.
Through most particles. Bullet punch is less dramatic.
Dang. And the bullet punch bullet point. I was waiting for someone to whip this one out.
As aim assist helps keep the target centered no matter what, way less prone to shaky aim or nervousness.
These are great bullet points. Let's go and look at them. Inhuman reaction times to strafe variations. Well, I think the guy before that was saying something about magnetism is just saying if someone's going like right to left and your reticle is like falling behind, and then you can either strafe and aim to bring it back. That's what he was thinking was a magnetism. Inhuman reaction time to left and right strafes. That's fine. You still got to cross the center. So visual clutter has minimal effect as aim assist works through most particles, snow, sand, and explosions. And I could do some more dashes and slashes and write a bunch of other visual effects that aim assist just goes through. The only thing being smoke. And what is it? The cat wall or whatever. So bullet punch. This is a great bullet point. Is less dramatic as aim assist just helps and keeps the target centered no matter what. So if you don't know, bullet punch is the thing that happens when you get hit with a bullet and you have no shield. Your reticle will jump up, and in order to simulate like you actually got hit by a bullet, you would whip your head up. If you're on M and K and you have no shield and you get headshot with something like even a single bullet, your reticle just jumps up. You have to now react to that and bring it back down. Do you think your opponent is still going to be right here, or do you think your opponent is going to have strafed some way or another? You know, remember what I was saying before? The whole this noise, how everybody strafes on the ground, like crouch spamming and 80 strafing, like a chicken with their head cut off. Yeah, that's what you have to go back to. So not only do you have to aim at this guy, your reticle is just up here now. It's just up there. How it got there, he landed a headshot on you. So you have to now work to bring your reticle back down while reading his strafe movements. So there's that. When you have aim assist, the game, and you're pulling down on like a controller, the game just reads your controller as constantly putting down inputs. All right. So if you're on controller and you get hit with a bullet in the head with no shield, your reticle will go up a little bit. Like if you get hit with like aim punch or bullet punch, you're on MK, it'll like jump up here. But when you get hit with bullet punch on controller, your reticle might go up a little bit, and then it'll, like just how controller is, it'll just bring it back down to center because you're doing more down inputs than that person has to whip their arm down to bring it back down. So that's what that is. And way less prone to shaky aim and nervousness. Yeah, this is like back to like a consistency thing, what we were saying before.
Less dramatic as aim assist helps keep the target centered no matter what, way less prone to shaky aim or nervousness. Aimbot. The smoothness aim assist reaches is inhuman and it's...
The smoothness aim assist reaches. So aim assist does not give smoothness. Smoothness is just an aspect that controller has. And it always will have. When you're on mouse and keyboard, you have to work at your smoothness. All right, either it comes from your wrist, comes from your fingers, or it comes from your elbow, or it comes from your shoulder. So you have 4 joints where smoothness can come from, depending on what sense you play on. And it's not that easy. All right, to show up with the same consistency that controller has.
Tracking ability is higher than like 80% of people who play the game off the bat with no help. It also
and if you think mid-level M&K people and high-level M&K people are like okay at the smoothness aspect, how easy do you think it is to bring in a new M&K person and they have to like meet that? They have to go up to that level. All right, as I said before, smoothness and tracking is already a very hard skill to get good at.
Doesn't care if you actually see the person through the visual clutter that most games have. Visual clutter shields breaking, damage effects, blood splatter, in-world effects, etc. Aim assist sees right through that humans can't see. Since now that roller players can use config for movement,
so he's probably talking about, he probably just had like a rank session and his bros are just like, yeah, man, I'd use the Steam configs, just tap strafe. Fuck them. You know, Respawn can't do anything about that guy, you know? Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Now, when that person gets good enough and if they just ever decide to do competitive, they got to take those scripts off. They got to take those configs off. They're not allowed in ALGS.
Debate is a bit over. Yes, you can't use them in a pro setting, but 99.5% of people will never go pro and play the casual.
And play the game casually. This is true.
The advantages of roller aim assist doesn't have to be learned like the advantages of mouse and keyboard. Movement. Aim assist is immediate, automatic, software-controlled performance out of the box in its current state. Aim assist basically minimizes human errors by reacting to strafes the millisecond they happen and slowing down the aim to easily get on the enemy again. Human errors should always be a big factor in esports. My favorite is Mandy's take. If controller is for gaming and mouse and key is for writing emails, shouldn't mouse and key get the aim assist? But the biggest actual problem is the fact that aim assist instantaneously changes directions when mouse and keyboard is limited by reaction time. Robots are not a competitive input.
Oh dang, laying it down. Robot not competitive.
Ruins the new player experience for PC people. Imagine installing the game and barely out how to recall control just for little Timmy to laser you down while cleaning snot off his nose.
Yeah. Like I said before, no one is coming into the game as a new M&K player. There's no one. All right? Use the competitive scene as an example. All right? No one. I don't know any new names, all right? And I kind of keep up with like the competitive scene. I'm not like diehard or whatever, but I like kind of. I'm just like, oh, that team. What are they? One M&K 2 controller. Oh, nice. What's that team? Triple controller. Okay. What's that team? Oh, it's like a random team. There's 2 M&K 1 controller. Oh man, they could use another controller. You know what I'm saying? Oh, what's that team over there? 1 M&K 2 roller? All right. Yeah, there's no one new entering the game. But the only people that have those statistics is Respawn.
Getting killed by level 30 accounts as if they were pro players is an awful experience. Gyro exists, raw input, stop crouching on a gimped aimbot. Aim is the #1 most important thing in Apex, especially at close range. Aim assist ruins the integrity of a close range fight because it easily allows you to track someone perfectly. On top of that, it doesn't require skill like mouse and keyboard. 99% of mouse and keyboard techs do, which is, I couldn't find a follow-up to that.
Yeah.
Aim assist should be removed. Most of the streamers who are preds use controller. Aim assist is instantaneous. Normal human reaction time 250 to 400 milliseconds. Top gamers can be 200.
True.
It is unaffected by poor iron sights or visual clutter, leaves or debris on the ground. It is unaffected by user ailments, tired, hungry, sick, allergies, depression, and posture.
What?
Meaning it's 100% consistent. And I also couldn't find a part 2 for this one.
Ah.
I just love this meme. Where do
Discussing for aim assist. Discussing against aim assist. Oh, discussion for aim assist against aim assist. Oh, this is funny. People just like clamoring and fighting in the streets for aim assist. Like, give me it against aim assist. All organized papers come up, suits professionals.
do I even begin? In a game with a high time to kill like Apex, smooth tracking is rewarded more than accurate flicking that by default makes aim assist more important than in other games. Rotational aim assist basically makes micro adjustments, in my opinion hardest part of aiming, obsolete. Rotational aim assist basically gives you inhuman reaction time since it follows directional changes with 0 milliseconds delay, so it changes the direction for you even before you have a chance to react to the opponent's strafe. This video demonstrates that pretty well. Controller players always use the PC as better movement argument while playing on a slow 3 to 4 sensitivity. You can pretty much do every movement technique in the game without lurch on console, and if you are on PC, thanks to configs, you have movement plus the OP aim assist.
Yep.
Console controller players talk about hardware limitations like they don't have an option to turn off crossplay. Most of the arguments are aimed at PC controller players, since unlike you, we can't opt to play in mouse and keyboard only lobbies. Apex has notoriously bad
Yeah, I mean, because if that was an option, like having the ability to opt in for like one input only lobbies, M&K only lobbies would be absolutely screwed. It would be so long.
Visibility, which again is basically alleviated by rotational aim assist, since it can track through all of that visual clutter, including caustic gas and catalyst wall. Correct me if I am wrong. Lots of people pick Bangalore just to disable aim assist. Objective stats from the latest ALGS show that controller outperforms mouse and keyboard players by quite a substantial margin. Difference between inputs, I think, are smaller in pro play. Imagine how average players feel playing as aim assist without better movement. Controller absolutely dominates PC rank. There are more controller players in among top predators than mouse and keyboard in PC lobbies. PC lobbies are basically glorified console lobbies with the amount of people are on controller.
No, a PC lobby is way different than a console lobby. Console lobbies, people just run at you. All right, I would argue the games end way quicker on console because you just consistently kill people quicker. Whereas at least on PC, there's less aim assist and there's M&K bros whiffing their fucking 360 tap strafe wall bounce shots on you.
More consistency, using aim drift to have aim assist constantly on, unbannable strike packs that negate recall among other things. 100 Thieves is the only full mouse and keyboard team in the ALGS.
So to my knowledge, in ALGS, you have a bunch of different regions or whatever, but the two full M&K teams are 100 Thieves and Fire Beavers. Both, you know, I'm a fan of both of them. Like, they're all cool dudes or whatever. But those teams are minorities. Every other team has somewhere between 1 or 2 controllers. All right. You know, I would love to see like someone actually break down like the current stats on like all the regions and put it into like numbers, like how many teams are triple roller, how many teams are double roller, how many teams are single roller, you know, how many teams are triple M&K, how many teams have 1 M&K, how many teams have 2 M&K, how many teams have, you know, 1. I would love to see those stats. I think that would be very interesting and telling.
I just want to give a big shout out to George for this one. This was like a really, really elaborate response. And compared to a lot of the responses, this one really takes the cake. Just big shout out, very well put together. Some things like the caustic gas were a little bit, I think, wrong, because I'm pretty sure it doesn't work for caustic gas. But we're going to be testing that, so we'll probably add like a fact check here somewhere or whatever. So cringe, can't let controller players have one thing. Because Grayson, their one thing is legal aimbot. Oh man, he went to war for it. And oh wow, this was a lot longer than I expected. And combing through these hundreds of responses ended up taking up a large portion of my day. Actually, I recorded the second part like 2 days later because it was just so much. I was also kind of pining going through all of these because I knew there would be quite a bit of inflammatory statements, and that's not something I want to see.
I think it was very smart of you to just get rid of all the insult comments. I mean, there were a lot of like repeat comments, more or less.
Speak out intentionally.
But it's fine.
Anyways, that's enough about me. With these perspectives in mind, there are a lot of things that I want to say. But before we even start, I have to mention that, just like I mentioned in the intro, people very obviously still don't even know what they're arguing about.
Yeah.
Console players seem to think that this discussion involves them when we aren't even in the same lobbies unless they specifically queue with a PC player. And at that point, aren't they asking for it? I wouldn't go into a war zone with a toy gun and complain that I get blasted by real bullets.
Yeah.
But due to all the misinformation that gets spread around this topic, I've definitely gotten the impression that many console players aren't even aware that the lobbies are separated in the first place. The lobbies have never mixed, yet so many console players think PC can find their way into the lobbies for legit reasons. Having an option for crossplay in the client doesn't help, because people think that means that it's enabled by default. But if you're in console, disabling the crossplay option only disables console crossplay. It basically puts you in this specific lobby of other players who are only playing on your system. If you narrow down the scope to PC controller with a PC mouse and keyboard, there's actually a lot of overlap. And as we can see, PC controller can do the same, if not technically better movement than mouse and keyboard thanks to all the scripts and macros, while also getting the benefit of aim assist to go with it.
Yeah.
But damn it, I'm getting too involved in these arguments.
Yeah. It's hard to remove yourself because I'm pretty sure Otter is an M&K bro. So, and then honestly, when you start to get good on M&K, you start to develop like a relationship and a bias towards it, which is like understandable because you put time and effort into it, you know, much the same way anything else.
Reading the post made me want to butt in and just do a comment, and it
But I think it was smarter for you to not butt in, and you know,
doesn't help that the fact check portion only involves like straight up misinformation and flat out lies. And I didn't want to add arguments as to why some things are the way that they are with it. If I take a biased view, and don't worry, I will be more reasonable later on, but I do want to say that I feel like aim assist trumps all of the advantages that mouse and keyboard has. But if I have to take that step back and come with a piping hot take for the video, I don't think you can fairly compare the inputs at all.
Yeah, because it's apples and oranges. Yeah, they're both fruit. Yes, they're both devices you use to play video games. But I mean, it's just an opinion that you can have. The real thing that matters is, what does Respawn think? What is Respawn gonna do about it?
Definitely pros and cons to both controller and mouse and keyboard. and you could argue that some pros are more useful than the others, but at the end of the day, you can't make a fair comparison, because both inputs are fundamentally different. I mean, for example, controller is a bit more stiff to use, but you have assisted aim, and mouse and keyboard has more options, but it's fully manual, and all highlights you make or all the mistakes you do are due to your own skill or your lack thereof. You can't fairly put them up against each other, listing the pros and cons, picking and choosing, because it all falls short before you even begin. And because you can't compare the two, you can't pick and choose things that you want to add or remove in between the inputs. Which means that no matter how you spin it, controller and mouse and keyboard will never find a perfect balance.
Honestly, I think it's like comparing a baseball bat and a hockey stick. You know? Like, oh my god, I think baseball bats are trash while playing hockey. Like, a hockey stick has so many more benefits. We need to buff baseball bats or something. I don't know. That was a terrible analogy.
I would argue we're definitely leaning towards controller and aim assist having the upper hand at the moment. And the thing is, it makes sense that it is the one that's being favored, since Respawn and other gaming developers understand that this is an unwinnable fight, and they choose to cater to the vastly larger player base, that being the console and the controller community, because you want to cater to the largest community so you can make the most money. They're companies. Money trumps competitive integrity.
It does. In every way, shape, and form, whether you want it to or not.
It just does. And in my humble opinion, the best solution for the sake of competitive integrity would just be splitting the lobbies. Turn off crossplay, and if a console player joins the PC lobby, their aim assist will be turned off. PC controllers should have a separate lobby, as they have way too many advantages against console players, and PC mouse and keyboard users should have their own lobbies as well. But again, this would be a huge hindrance to the community. It would make queues really long and fracture the community.
Honestly, would it even be so bad to have like console specific lobbies? Like you can opt into crossplay or not. Like if I just want to play against other PC bros, regardless of their input, I should be able to just be able to do that. You know? I don't think the PC lobbies would, the queue time at least, would hurt that much, you know? I don't know.
In so many ways that no sane game developer ever would want. So they instead opt to cater to the casual majority and call it a day.
Which is honestly probably better for the business of Apex.
Fair competitive integrity? No. Is it a logical business decision? Yes, absolutely. Do I think anything will change?
No.
No. Hell no. And hopefully this video gave you some insight in the hot topic of aim assist and why it is so hard to solve. I'm sure you have tons of thoughts, so feel free to let me know down below. If you're interested in learning about all the possible movement techniques that you can do in a controller without the configs, check out the video on the screen. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to me rant to this for, well, the recording is over an hour long. Take it easy, and I will see you all tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah, that was a great video. Highlighting the pros and cons of aim assist for Apex on controller, PC, MK, you know, console, all that jazz. It's just another stick to the fire to add into the whole aim assist versus M&K stuff. So controller versus M&K. Good video. I think it was great. I would like to see more. Yeah. So that's pretty much all I gotta say. All right. Later.